Doug Marrone, year 2 at the helm of the Buffalo Bills. You see his record 8-11, 3-6 so far on the road with Buffalo, and his very good buddy and counterpart today, 44-year-old Bill O'Brien. Of course, his maiden voyage as a rookie head coach in the NFL. We'll tell you about their story as the day goes on. Randy Bullock boots it away. C.J. Spiller catches it. His back foot out of bounds, so the Bills will have it from the 20. 124th consecutive sellout here in Houston. And here comes E.J. Manuel. Second-year quarterback, has struggled on the road a little bit, Solomon, but has won his last 2 on the road as they try to get back in the win column today after the 12-point loss at home to the Chargers.
But I love what he told us when we spoke with him yesterday. He said, I just got to go out and cut it loose and just play naturally. Don't try to guide the ball. Don't overthink it. Let's see how he performs today on the road.
Win today for the Bills would give him their first 3-1 start in 3 years. Manuel airs it out on first down. That's the fullback, Frank Summers, second-year man out of UNLV. As we take a look at the starters, we mentioned 2 rookies starting up front. Cyril Richardson today making the start. Chris Williams, a scratch with a back injury. Seantrell Henderson, the other first-year man. C.J. Spiller, former Clemson standout. Last Sunday struggled a bit, was on the injury report this week with a chest injury, but is up and making the start for Buffalo. 2nd and 7 after the completed pass to Summers. Second down pass incomplete off the hands of the rookie Sammy Watkins, the 4th overall pick in May's NFL draft. J.J. Watt, former defensive player of the year, the otherworldly talent that he's been for this Houston defense. Linebackers headlined by Brian Cushing. Lost against his hometown New York Giants last Sunday in East Rutherford. And the back end of the secondary features DJ Swearinger, the second-year safety out of South Carolina. Already a couple of forced fumbles 3 weeks into the season. You saw there the first dropped pass by a Buffalo receiver on the season sets up a 3rd and 7. Fred Jackson, long setback. Manuel from the gun, hit as he throws. Wobbling pass will sail incomplete. Intended for the second-year man, Robert Woods. And now a penalty marker is thrown behind the line of scrimmage. And this one looks like it's against Houston. Bill Vinovich, our referee. And now looks like a hold.
Hands in the face. Offense number 70. Penalties decline. Ball to play. 4th down.
Sally, I guess E.J. Manuel misread the body language from Vinovich.
Well, I could tell you this, you know, Eric Wood and this entire offensive line for Doug Marrone and the Buffalo Bills, they've got their hands full with J.J. Watt. He's already hit the quarterback twice in the first 3 offensive plays for Buffalo.
Jordan Gay, Buffalo's punter, on to kick. Signed off waivers in August from Carolina. Today only his 4th career game. And back deep for the Texans is Damaris Johnson, the 3rd-year man out of Tulsa. Good-looking kick. Johnson's going to play it inside his own 30. Makes the first guy miss, cuts across the 30. And good field position for the former Buffalo Bill, Ryan Fitzpatrick, who today faces his old team for the first time. And he made no secret of the fact, Solomon, that he's extra motivated to go out and play well and win today.
Yeah, you know, he's still good friends with a lot of the players on the Buffalo Bills team. He even rents out his home in Buffalo to one of the current players. He says, but this is the team that got rid of me. This is the team that no longer wanted me, and being the competitor that I am, I want to go out and show them I can still play.
Fitzpatrick, 64% completion percentage. Did not throw a pick over the first 2 games before throwing 3 of them in that 30-17 loss to the Giants last Sunday. Play action on 1st and 10. Bullet pass over the middle. Andre Johnson, who has rewritten the record books here in Houston. 13 yards and a Texans first down.
One of the plays that Bill O'Brien said that it was tailor-made for his quarterback, Ryan Fitzpatrick, is this square in route. He said he throws these routes along with the deep route as well as any quarterback in football. And that was well timed because it was excellent coverage by Leotis McKelvin.
See what Johnson has done there in terms of receiving yards per game. 2nd in NFL history behind only Calvin Johnson. Little pitch play to Foster, who will keep a close eye on today, playing with that hamstring injury. Chris Myers today starting the 100th game of his Texans career. He holds the NFL's longest active consecutive games played streak for an offensive lineman at 140. We mentioned Arian Foster, Andre Johnson, who has been so good at home, his 80th game in this stadium today. You saw the career averages, 6.5 receptions and 91 yards per game at home are the highest of any NFL player in league history. Arian Foster split out top of your picture. This is 2nd and 16 over the middle. It's caught. DeAndre Hopkins, the second-year stud out of Clemson, 9 yards and chopped down just shy of the 50. Starters defensively, Mario Williams today facing his old team here for the 2nd time since leaving in 2012. Signed the richest contract for a defensive player in history at the time. Brandon Spikes coming over from the Patriots in the offseason. And the back end of the secondary potentially very good. Stephon Gilmore, who they were expecting to make that breakout step last year, of course had the wrist injury, missed the first 5 games of the season, and was never quite fully healthy. 3rd and 6. Fitzpatrick under duress, throws near side and nearly picked. Closest receiver on the play was Keyshawn Martin. McKelvin had it on his fingertips, and the Texans will punt.
Wow, Aaron Williams, he was in the backfield very quick. Watch him come creeping up right there, coming in late, disguising the blitz, number 23, able to get pressure on Ryan Fitzpatrick. Fitzpatrick was not even close to his intended receiver. In fact, that was closer to being intercepted.
And here's Shane Leckler, question mark this week with a leg injury. And Fred Jackson will call fair catch, and this one takes a Buffalo bounce. Did they get it before it went in the end zone? And it looks like they did. Excellent play by the Houston punt team as they will pin Buffalo back. It was Daryl Morris who was just barely able to get it inside the 5. 48-yard punt. Miraculous special teams play by Morris. Still scoreless.
As we return to Houston, take a look at this. You're going to see the defender, it's Daryl Morris. Look at that foot. It's right on the line. And so that's going to be a touchback where they thought they had the Bills pinned right inside the 5-yard line. You see that foot right there, the left foot on the line, which is going to mean it's going to be a touchback. They're going to bring this ball back out to the 20, Spiro.
Bill Vinovich, our referee, still under the hood as we speak, as they try to get that conclusive video evidence that they need to overturn the call. Doug Marrone throwing the challenge flag just as we went to break.
Well, we think we have clear, indisputable visual evidence that the foot was on the line, but you never tell.
Talked about the long-standing friendship between the two head coaches today, Doug Marrone and Bill O'Brien. Both go way back. We're on George O'Leary's staff at Georgia Tech from 1995 to 1999. O'Brien, an offensive assistant, and Marrone, the director of football operations. Those two have remained so close over the years. Here's Bill Vinovich.
After reviewing the play, the receiver's left foot was on the line when he touched the ball. Therefore, it is a touchback. 1st and 10 on the 20. Buffalo is not charged a timeout, and they won their first challenge.
All right, Sally, you were right. Just took them a few extra seconds to make the right call, as Buffalo will have it at the 20.
And now let's see if E.J. Manuel can get something going. First of all, pay attention to J.J. Watt. See if this Buffalo Bills offensive line can keep him out of the backfield and out of the face of their quarterback. One way to slow him down, create some screen plays, get the ball in the hand of C.J. Spiller, maybe coming out of the backfield. You've got to do everything you can to slow down J.J. Watt. He is a load of energy and a ton of talent.
Keep in mind, 2 rookie starters today for the Bills offensive line. This is 1st and 10 from the 20. Jackson, the old warhorse, across the line of scrimmage, picks up 2 hard-fought yardage. So E.J. Manuel, the 16th overall pick before that 2013 season, thrown into the fire, Solomon, last year after Kevin Cobb was forced into retirement. And it's one thing to try to come of age as a young quarterback. It's another thing to try to do it with a franchise that's had very little recent success.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's one of the biggest challenges for young quarterbacks. If you're joining a team that's already successful, it's one thing, but you're trying to lift a franchise and play well at the same time could be challenging.
Manuel's going to go play action, and he's going backwards. Sacked. Jared Crick getting their first, the third-year man out of Nebraska. Today making only the 5th start of his brief career. They lose 5.
Take a look. This is everyone, but J.J. Watt comes in from the backside, and you can see right there, they're closing in. He's got to do a better job of just getting rid of the ball. See, the clock is ticking. Ball's got to come out. But certainly, I think this is a matchup that bears watching. Trent comes away with the sack there, but this offensive line have to do a better job of protecting their young quarterback on the road.
They line up Spiller in the slot. Bottom of your picture on 3rd and 13. Over the middle, deflected and incomplete, and a late marker comes in behind the line of scrimmage.
Personal foul, roughing the passer. Defense number 99. No hit on the quarterback. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Oh, it's the floodgates coming in. And look, they're going to get a hit on the quarterback. Take a look at 36, DJ Swearinger. Okay, right there. Oh, going at the legs of the quarterback. They're calling it on J.J. Watt. I got to tell you, those kind of hits have an accumulative effect, particularly on a young quarterback. We saw it as we first just listened to the official. I think he wants to say something because he left his mic on.
So big penalty gives the Bills a 1st and 10. This is Spiller. So dangerous trying to get to the outside, spins his way across the 35, and good first down yardage of 5 for the 5th-year man out of Clemson.
Yeah, I'm going to go back to talking about those hits on a young quarterback. We saw it in the Thursday night game. Matthias Kiwanuka was able to hit Kirk Cousins early in the game, and then the poor decision-making with throwing balls into coverage. Something you got to look out for if you're E.J. Manuel. You can see already getting the jersey dirty in this second possession.
This is Bills offense that averaged 26.5 points over the first 2 weeks, scored just 10 in the home loss to the Chargers last week. Manuel on 2nd and 5, airs it out near side, incomplete, nearly pulled in. It's incomplete off the hands of Mike Williams, one of the newest members of this Buffalo wide receiving corps.
Daryl Morris in really good coverage. Not a bad throw. E.J. Manuel puts it where only his guy can get it. But look, he didn't haul it in completely and early. And so Morris is able to rake away at the arms and pry the receiver away from the football.
Williams reunited with the man who coached him briefly at Syracuse, Doug Marrone. This is 3rd and 5, pitch to Spiller. Gets to the outside, they dump him behind the line of scrimmage, and Buffalo will punt. Daryl Morris has been all over the place for the Texans.
Well, you've got to be able to play the run with other defenders other than just the guys in the box. And Morris is able to get up to the edge. Take a look. See, watch as he get ready to bounce. He comes up, sets the edge right there, getting submarining the blockers, and then you can see Morris coming up to secure the tackle.
Colton Schmidt on the punt for Buffalo. So the roughing the passer penalty, unable to keep their drive going. Fair catch, and the Kel Roby downs it just outside the Houston 30. 36-yard punt from Schmidt. Ryan Fitzpatrick back onto the field when we come back. You're watching the NFL on CBS.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Without a heart, it's just a machine. Dodge Dart. Don't touch it. And by Verizon. More live games than ever before with NFL Mobile.
NASA Space Center on a Sunday afternoon in Houston. Spiro Ditas, Alman Wilcox, our entire CBS crew. 71,000 NRG Stadium in Houston. Alfred Blue, who made his first career start for Foster last Sunday against the Giants, into the game, split out. Top of your picture, first down pass complete. That's Hopkins. And for anyone who missed that Houston Texans game last week, had one of the more incredible catches we've ever seen. It was negated, of course. Here's Ryan Fitzpatrick. You see his career with the Buffalo Bills. Some really high moments on that very lucrative extension, but was weighed solidly at the end of the 2012 season.
Yeah, when you talk to many of the players still in Buffalo, they have high praise for Ryan Fitzpatrick. What did Mario Williams tell us? He's a leader. He's a guy that can make a lot of plays. What they want to do to him today is force him to have to throw it on every single down.
Fitzpatrick completes again. That's a 2nd and 6 play. Once again, it's Hopkins. Caught it to 40, about a yard away from a first down. Let's send you to New York in our first update with James Brown.
Raiders strike first.
Get that first win of the season. Derek Carr finds Brian Leonhardt for a one-handed catch. 7-0 Miami. Set up a beautiful 30-yard pass from James Jones.
All right, back to Spiro and Solomon.
Raiders trying to end that long losing streak. All the discontent among Raider Nation. Here's 3rd and short play action. Fitzpatrick, he can run it. Needed to get to the 41. Looks to be short. As that Buffalo defense taking on their old buddy Mario Williams.
Wow. Laying
a pretty good smack on Fitzpatrick, and the Texans will punt.
I don't think they had this in mind. Take a look at the impact, or listen. That's not what you want for your quarterback. They were trying to sneak Andre Johnson out in the flat, and they wanted him to throw it. Andre Johnson was covered, and so Fitzpatrick was forced to keep it and try to run the ball himself.
Leckler on the punt. We visited with Mario Williams, who had nothing but high praise for Fitzpatrick. But that time wasn't very nice to his old teammates. So E.J. Manuel back onto the field, still scoreless on CBS. Thursday, your football week starts here when the Vikings take on the Packers in an AFC North showdown in Green Bay. Another big-time matchup goes prime time. Thursday night football on CBS and NFL Network. Thursday night crew will be here 2 weeks from tonight. And J.J. Watt, Salmon already getting his money's worth.
Oh, absolutely. He is taking up residence in the backfield of the Buffalo Bills, already hitting E.J. Manuel, getting the jersey dirty. Just helping the young quarterback to feel sort of hurried and trying to speed up his processing in the pocket, hoping they can force him to make mistakes.
1st and 10. And keep it on the ground to Spiller across the 20. Picks up 3, maybe 4. Brian Cushing making the tackle. So J.J. Watt, already a 2-time Pro Bowler, former Defensive Player of the Year, signed that $100 million extension, and his stats just off the charts.
Yeah, since 2011, look, 1st in tackles, 3rd in sacks. The pass defense, you know, a lot of those are batted balls. Some of them result into turnovers and interceptions. So his impact on the game is simply phenomenal.
2nd and 6. Manuel again crowded. Able to get to the line of scrimmage, but that offensive front having all kinds of issues. We had a chance to sit down with J.J. Watt. He has such a unique perspective, such a fresh take. He's so appreciative, Solomon, of everything he has, and he's just so dangerous.
Well, you know, and if we go ahead and show it, look, we're going to have a check down running back wide open. See the pressure? He even looks over there. No, he never looked, I should say. But you have to be able to save yourself sometimes at the quarterback position. Not always count on the offensive line. They're going to block them, but you as a quarterback have to find the open receiver and be able to get rid of the football.
Manuel from the gun on 3rd and 6, near side, and that is the 3rd dropped pass by a Buffalo receiver and the 2nd by Watkins.
Now, what did Doug Marrone tell us? He says, look, we've got 2 rookies starting on our offensive line. We've got young wide receivers. He's throwing to a rookie here, Sammy Watkins. And maybe it's not a perfect ball, but it's certainly one that should have been caught by Watkins. Look, he's got to reach back for it, but you've got to come back to the ball as well. He had some room to make that catch and pick up a first down.
We sat and spoke to Marrone yesterday. One of the first questions naturally was about Manuel, and immediately can sense him deflecting the attention off of his second-year quarterback and on some of the other young players that need to produce around him. That was Demarcus Johnson. Slipped up and falls just inside the 25-yard line. So still looking for our first points. You're watching the NFL on CBS.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by the all-new Chrysler 200, America's import. And by Bud Light, who reminds fans to stay in the game and drink responsibly.
Well, not much offense to speak of so far. 5:23 to play. We've had 5 total possessions, 5 punts each team so far, Solomon, with just 1 first down to speak of.
Well, I think if you're Houston, you've got to begin to try to get Arian Foster going in the run game. Bill O'Brien understands it. You have balance for a guy like Ryan Fitzpatrick. You minimize the interception potential, but yet you get your offensive line going.
Here's Foster on 1st and 10. Just barely able to get to the original line of scrimmage as they dump him in the backfield. Follow all of today's football action on the go. Download the award-winning CBS Sports app right now for instant scores, breaking news, video, and more, all on your phone. Line up just inside the 25-yard line. Clock continues to run. Under 5 minutes to play. Foster now split out at the bottom of your picture on 2nd and 10. Quick pass. The strike caught by Foster. Makes the first guy miss across the 35 and forced out of bounds just shy of the 40-yard line by the backup safety, Duke Williams. Back to New York in an update. JB and Bart.
Indy starting on a good foot.
Andrew Luck completes a 37-yard pass to T.Y. Hilton, setting up a 1-yard run by Trent Richardson. Indy up 7-0. Also kicked the onside kick. They're being aggressive.
Back to Spiro Dides.
All right, JB, 12-yard hookup on that last play. Here's Foster, who, despite the fact, Solomon, that did not play last week, still entered today 2nd in the AFC in rushing, and he has been a workhorse. Question has always been durability with him.
Well, you're talking about workhorse. Despite missing last week, he still came into week 3 with more rushing attempts than any other running back in the National Football League with 55, even though he sat out a game. So that tells you how much of a workhorse he really is.
Split out on that play on a 2nd and long, hard hit. That's the tight end Garrett Graham, the 14th man out of Wisconsin. 6-yard reception and brought down just outside of the 40. Looks like an injured player on the field. It was Dwayne Brown, it looked like, offensive tackle for Houston. Looks like Brown is okay and will now be looked at by the Houston training staff. So 3:44 to play, still scoreless. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Dwayne Brown, Houston's all-pro tackle, 2-time Pro Bowler. They're looking at his left leg, so he is out. And now Derek Newton has moved from the right to the left tackle, and Tyson Clabo, whom you just saw, is into the game to play right tackle. 3rd and 5. They mark it just outside the 42. Texans so far have just 2 first downs. Fitzpatrick rolls out, looks down the field, and he's brought down just behind the line of scrimmage. Nigel Bradham getting there first for the Buffalo defense. They lose 2 on the play.
Well, they just do a really good job of reading it. They're trying to move the pocket for Fitzpatrick to try to get him on the edge. And look, they're able to come around and still try to make plays. Look, see, they're reading and spying him. And look, they're able to get out in front of him before he could use his mobility to pick up the first down, but yet still good coverage on the back end.
Bradham picking up where he left off last week. Career high in tackles with 13 in that home loss to the Chargers. Leotis McKelvin signals fair catch. Buffalo will have it when we come back. Stadium in Houston, E.J. Manuel, who has fought through some recent road woes as a starting quarterback, 2-4 away from Buffalo, although Solomon, he has won his last 2 away games.
Yeah, but I'm really concerned that the Buffalo Bills aren't coming in here trying to really get the quarterback going by running the football. So far, 4 run plays and 7 pass plays for their young quarterback.
Fred Jackson into the game. They line him up in the slot. Bottom of your picture, 1st and 10 from right outside the 20. That pass deflected at the line of scrimmage, and just haven't given Manuel much help.
Oh, guess who's in the face of the young quarterback? And this is how you got to slow J.J. Watt down. You got to pound the running game. Remember, 1 week ago, the New York Giants over 190 yards rushing against this Houston Texans defense. And already you come in and you see the Buffalo Bills trying to throw the ball, trying to spread them out, and they're not able to protect their young quarterback from the likes of J.J. Watt.
You see the breakdown, just 4 run plays, 13th play that they've had in the game, and right on cue it's Fred Jackson, oldest running back in the NFL, defying everything that they say about running backs' careers being over just after the age of 30, 9 yards on the ground.
Yeah, and watch the energy and watch him. See, he gets right into that hole, right underneath Brooks Reed. He's still able to come up and get to the next level.
Eligible.
Jackson out of Cole College, Cedar Rapids, Iowa. One of 5 undrafted players in the history of the league to run for over 5,000 yards. Critical third and short play. Looked to be maybe a miscommunication. They get it to Jackson anyway. Excellent recovery by Manuel. First down, hook up, 5 yards, and Buffalo finally able to move the chains.
And now we're seeing some poise by E.J. Manuel. Even though the pressure was in his face, even though they leave Brooks Reed unblocked, and he's just screaming to go get the quarterback, and still able to dump it off to Jackson to pick up a first down.
Buffalo started their season 3 weeks ago with a surprising road win in Chicago. Getting off to that 2-0 start. Something that they have experience with. Hasn't always panned out for them as Jackson tripped up in the backfield. Just incredible numbers that he continues to put up at the advanced old age, Solomon, of 33.
You know, and he and C.J. Spiller are different, but you can run just about every single play with both guys. Fred Jackson is a bigger, stronger running back, but he's so good at catching the ball out of the backfield. He can run both between the tackles with power, but still has the speed to hit the edge. And you don't see anyone catching him from behind, even though he's 33 years of age.
Jackson last week in the loss against the Chargers, career high 8 receptions. Second straight catch for Jackson here. Cuts back across the 30 and brought down at the 35-yard line. A penalty marker down well behind the line of scrimmage.
Personal foul. Roughing the passer. Defense number 99. Low hit on the quarterback. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Second roughing the passer penalty against Watt.
Yeah, number 99. We told you he was living in this backfield now. He's getting close to E.J. Manuel every play right there, but you can't go low. I mean, he knows the rules. They've already flagged him for it once. Just stay high. The target area is above the knee area, right into the torso. Can't go low on the quarterbacks, just like you can't go for the head, Spiro.
So 2 of the 3 first downs for Buffalo today have come on those roughing the passer penalties, and both against J.J. Watt. 1st and 10 from the 50. Draw play, Spiller getting to the edge, cutting inside across the 40, still going. Cushing finally forces him out of bounds, but a big play from Spiller. 22 yards and a Buffalo first down.
Well, they're able to get around J.J. Watt. He takes that calculated risk, comes inside, and look, the ball's going to go outside of him, and they're unable to set the edge. See how he jumps inside? That's a calculated risk, and that really just hurts the integrity of the defense. Now, J.J. Watt, we've seen him make good plays, positive plays, by making that move. In that case, it really rendered the defense very vulnerable to an outside run.
First time either team has crossed the 50. 7th play of the drive, 1st and 10 from the Texans 28. And this one whistled dead before it snapped.
False start. Offense number 68. 5-yard penalty. Good first down.
That's the rookie out of Baylor, Cyril Richardson, who is making the start today for the injured Chris Williams, out with a back injury.
Yeah, he's one of those rookies. We talked about starting on that offensive line today. Boy, do they have their hands full.
Started Baylor for 5 years, about a 2.5-hour drive from where we are here in Houston. And that'll take us to the end of the first quarter. Still looking for our first points. Buffalo threatening. End of 1 in Houston. We'll return after these messages. You're watching the NFL on CBS.
You know, J.J. Watt is hot. He's trying to get his defensive lineman lined up. The nose tackle, Jarrell Poe, he doesn't move down far enough. And now they're vulnerable to getting gashed once again in the run game. Something that we saw happen last week against the New York Giants. It's a new system defensively brought in by their coordinator, Romeo Crennel. And there are some growing pains taking place with this defensive front for the Houston Texans.
Crennel replacing the very well-respected Wade Phillips during the offseason. This is Spiller on 1st and 15. Brought down short of the 30. Tackle made by Ryan Pickett, who was signed this week after some injuries that they have had to deal with up front.
Yeah, and you talk about a 3-4 defense that was run by Wade Phillips, their former defense coordinator. Well, this is a different kind of 3-4 scheme. It's a true 3-4 scheme. We talked with the coaches about it, Romeo Cornell, that they have to be two-gap players so that the linebackers can make plays. It's an unselfish way of playing, but they're having to make some huge adjustments up front on the defense.
8th play of the drive. This is 2nd and 14. That pass is completed at the 25-yard line. Sammy Watkins, who's had a couple of drops already, 7 yards, but still well short of that first down marker.
Yeah, Sammy Watkins, a former first-round pick coming out of Clemson, working against Jonathan Joseph. They believe they can make some plays underneath the corners for the Houston Texans, playing that off coverage. See, they were able to catch it in front of Jonathan Joseph there to set up the 3rd and 5 on this play.
3rd and 5. Jackson a long setback. Buffalo 1 and 4 so far on 3rd down today. Manuel evades the sack. Off balance, throws across his body and finds the tight end Chandler for the first down. What a play by Manuel. 10 yards to the air to Chandler.
Wow, you know, the protection wasn't as great. They're trying to move the pocket and get him out on the edge. Right there, here comes, see, there's the blitzer right there. Tim Jamison should have probably had the sack on E.J. Manuel, but his athleticism at the quarterback position buys time, extends the play, and is able to find a target open downfield.
Those are the kinds of play by Manuel that has the Buffalo front office so excited. Can they protect him, however, and keep him upright? 1st and 10. Manuel surveys the field to gain to Chandler inside the 10. Chandler coming off the best statistical game of his season. 5 catches last Sunday. Last year, career year, they rewarded him with a contract extension, and now Chandler will limp to the sideline.
I'll take a look at it. He's going to be here coming across the field there. And they're going to try to chop the legs out from up under him right there. The big guys got to protect their legs. Kareem Jackson, he understands where to go to try to get him down on the ground. It's a clean play, but Chandler comes up limping.
Chris Gregg, their number 3 tight end, 2nd-year man out of Arkansas, will come in. But first, Buffalo will burn a timeout. First time either team has crossed the 50 today. Buffalo aided by a couple of roughing the passer penalties against J.J. Watt, and now E.J. Manuel, who is looking for his 3rd straight road win, has Buffalo inside the Houston 10. Early stages, 2nd quarter. Spiro Dita, Solomon Wilcots, our entire CBS crew with you in Houston. Coming up tomorrow, don't miss the new show, Critics Are Calling. Fast, funny, and above all, exciting. Catch the new hit drama Scorpion tomorrow at 9/8 Central after the Big Bang Theory. Only CBS. Sally, so difficult to evaluate a young quarterback when you can't protect him and so many moving parts around him. Where is Manuel right now in his developmental process?
I think he's a few steps away. Obviously, the ability to speed up the process in his mind, to be able to go through his progression and eliminate maybe target number 1 or 2 and go straight to number 3 immediately based on what the coverage is giving him. He's completed 5 straight passes now on this drive, now down inside the red zone. Here's where things really have to speed up, get the ball out quick, because J.J. Watt is coming. Be able to hit your running back on the check down.
11th play of the drive. This is 2nd and 6. Jackson, draw play, minimal gain. Brought down maybe after a gain of a half yard. J.J. Watt on another tackle for the Texans. And now critical decision for Doug Marrone on 3rd down.
Take a look, J.J. Watt wreaking havoc. He's able to just knife in and make so many plays, whether it's run defense or pressuring the quarterback. But now we have a 3rd down play. And now you have to be able to use your tight ends down inside the red zone. You can see they have not been very good down here. They're going to go maybe with a play-action pass, but you've got to work the bottom of the field where you have your receivers in the bunch formation. Look to get a screen on one of the defenders to maybe free up Watkins. Now they're going to have to burn a timeout.
2nd quarter timeout.
Wow. It's not good.
32nd timeout.
See, it's not good. And And obviously they use the timeout, but you know, these are timeouts that are going to come in handy later in the half. But more than anything, you're going to make sure you get everything protected to be able to block number 99, because that's got to be the focus. Now, see, he's setting the protection, trying to find the Mike receiver. Look, he doesn't like the protection. He wants to change it now. So now he's trying to change it. It appears to be some confusion. He's running out of time until he burned the timeout. But you have to be able to set the protection, and if there's any doubt in the mind of one person on that offensive line, then you go ahead and call it off, get the timeout, so you don't squander the opportunity to put points on the board.
Well, keep in mind, this is a Bills offensive line that is starting 2 rookies today against this very dangerous defensive front for Houston, trying to keep Manuel protected.
I like him going to the receiver who has one-on-one opportunity to win. Wow.
Pre-snap movement.
They can't get it right.
False start. Offense, number 77. 5-yard penalty. Good third down.
Well, that's Cordy Glenn, who has the very unenviable task of dealing with Watt for the most part today.
Well, he's got a couple of things working against him. Crowd noise, take a look at the top of the screen. And then the energy and that quick step of J.J. Watt.
Manuel on 3rd and 11, incomplete.
Well, we said they'll probably go to the single receiver side. Mike Williams matched up with Jonathan Joseph. Look at the close by Joseph. The ball is actually in the possession just temporarily, even though it wasn't secure. Okay, he didn't control the catch, but it was right in the gut of Mike Williams, and Jonathan Joseph is able to pry it loose.
31-yard attempt from Dan Carpenter. Last season, one of the best seasons ever by a Buffalo kicker. Gave him a 4-year, $9 million extension during the offseason. Garrison Sanborn, the long snapper, 31-yard attempt is good. So finally, the stalemate is broken. Buffalo puts our first points on the board. 3-0. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Well, J.J. Watt, like a gladiator, getting his armor readjusted. He's been taking it as well as he's given it so far. Undercut on a clean block by Fred Jackson before that last break. They were looking at him during the timeout as they readjust that brace on his left elbow. Dan Carpenter boots it away. Actually, Jordan Gay, I beg your pardon. Daniel Manning watches it sail to the back of the end zone. So the Texans still scoreless. This was the play a moment ago. Jackson nearly sending Watt head over heels.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by the all-new 2015 Acura TLX. It's that kind of thrill. T-Mobile. And by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Our hard-working, fabulous crew here in our CBS production truck as we welcome you back to NRG Stadium. Muggy late September day. Arian Foster, question mark. Solomon with that hamstring. How has he looked to you so far?
Well, off to a slow start. And here's a guy that's getting hit in the backfield. They're not able to get him back to the line of scrimmage. But if you get him out in space, allow him to catch the ball, he can really have great production. He tends to get better as the game goes on.
Foster actually -7 yards on his first 3 takes. They're going to take a shot. Incomplete. Penalty marker comes flying in. DeAndre Hopkins was the intended receiver. And now we await the call. Aaron Williams, the safety, who was converted over from cornerback last year, was the man on the coverage.
Leotis, Kelvin, and all these defensive backs.
Illegal contact. Defense number 21.
Yeah.
5-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
Leotis McKelvin working with DeAndre Hopkins. Take a look at the top, and it's the double move right here. So you're going to stop, reach out and grab him. And it's almost better than maybe giving up the touchdown, because had DeAndre Hopkins got by him, he would have caught that, and it would have been a score. One might say McKelvin, after biting on the double move, prevented the touchdown from Hopkins.
So can that penalty get this Texans offense going? Behind Ryan Fitzpatrick, only 3 first downs to this point. This is the rookie Alfred Blue on his first carry. Let's get you back to New York and an update, JB and Bart Scott.
Miami keeping it going.
Yeah, we go Lamar Miller on a 9-yard run, crack toss for the touchdown. Miami 17 points unanswered. Miami leading 17-7.
Back to Spiro and Solomon.
Long way for those two teams to go, boy, especially for the Oakland Raiders, as the Dolphins have taken that 10-point lead. Second reception for Andre Johnson. 7-time Pro Bowler, 7 yards, make it 10 yards and a Houston first down.
And what courage by the veteran Andre Johnson. He goes to the teeth of his defense. Watch, right in the middle, and a nice throw from the quarterback, Fitzpatrick. He was able to jam that one in, even though the coverage was tight, a very small window to get the completion.
First and 10, they mark it just inside the 35. Fitzpatrick's going to go play action. Airs it out over the middle. Caught again. Johnson forced out of bounds at the 40. Johnson, who has been just off the charts for this franchise, frustrated during the offseason, publicly voicing his displeasure with their direction.
Take a look at this route, though, where the combination between Johnson and Hopkins, they were so close together. I thought maybe there was some confusion there. Then as they separated, one came free. 2 of the defenders ran along with DeAndre Hopkins, leaving Johnson wide open.
25-yard hookup between Fitzpatrick and Johnson. First and 10 from the 40. First time the Texans have crossed midfield. Johnson, 3rd straight reception. Minimal gain. Ball comes out loose. No signal that he was down. That's a live football, it looks like. Denard Searcy, the guy who may be at the bottom of that pile. And now the question, who has it? Officials trying to maintain control. Wild swinging.
It's have to prevail here.
Penalty marker flies. And it looks like it is Buffalo football. Searcy, the man who fell on the football. Searcy limited during the week after he hurt his ankle against the Chargers Sunday. Now as the Buffalo offense comes onto the field.
Hey, there he is right there. Okay, the ball comes out before the knee hits the ground. They didn't blow the whistle. There was no sign that
on the field,
progress had been
there's a fumble
stopped.
recovered by Buffalo. Personal foul, unnecessary roughness. Houston, number 76. 15-yard penalty. Buffalo ball, first down.
First fumble by Andre Johnson lost since October the 12th, 2008. 82 straight games as that long streak comes to an end.
Timeout.
So E.J. Manuel and company back onto the field, up 3 in Houston. Well, you have to go back nearly 6 calendar years. The last time Andre Johnson fumbled, October the 12th, 2008 against Miami. 82 straight games since losing a fumble. And it happened a moment ago. Denard Searcy making the tackle, also the recovery.
Yeah, after Brandon Spikes, 51, came along to poke it out.
That was Johnson's 3rd straight reception in as many plays before that fumble. And now can Manuel and Buffalo's offense take advantage? 31-yard field goal by Dan Carpenter, the only scoring. First and 10 from the Houston 49. This is Spiller getting to the outside, breaks a tackle across the 45, still going. Good run play on first down. They pick up 6, maybe 7. Justin Tuggle, the second-year man from Kansas State, forced him out.
Just a very creative way to get the run game going all the way back to the other side. And take a look. You can see they slammed the door shut over on the back end on the block down by the tight end and able to get him to the edge of the defense. Real creative way of running the football. Another creative way of slowing down J.J. Watt.
Spiller, the 50th man in his career, has averaged better than 5 yards per rush, a franchise record. Second and 4, play action. Manuel, too high, intended for the second-year man Woods, who last week had 3 catches. Manuel that time had the protection off with his throw.
Well, they're getting people wide open. And take a look. They're going to come across the field right here. And then if you're E.J. Manuel, you got to be able to see. But take a look. He doesn't see guys who are coming wide open. Over to the left side, over on the 40-yard line. And then he overthrows the second opportunity. So there are receivers getting open, and E.J. Manuel is not finding it.
Third and 4. Manuel, far side, it's Watkins. Inside the 40, inside the 35, 7 yards, and a big, big first down for the Bills.
The offense is moving. I think if you can just keep a clean pocket for E.J. Manuel, I think he'll grow in comfort level. And then the receivers will start to make plays. We've seen receiver Spiro put the ball on the ground, had some drops. But now that the protection is improving, you can see the tempo and overall rhythm of the offense is improving.
Watkins, the AFC Rookie of the Week back in Week 2. First and 10 play on the ground to Jackson. Had a chance to visit with Marone yesterday, as we mentioned. Talked a lot about Sammy Watkins, really telling us how impressed he's been. He's not a wide-eyed kid, very mature. And one thing that he's been impressed with, unbelievable strength in his hands, talking about Watkins' ability.
He's got some physical abilities. He also has an understanding of, he said he can read coverages while running his routes, but more than anything, that he was very impressed with his ability to beat the jam at the line of scrimmage against man-to-man coverage at the NFL level.
Second and 8, draw play. Jackson, the ageless one, making a miss, taking on tacklers down to the 22-yard line. A man's run from Jackson, taking on the safety Kendrick Lewis, and he took him for a ride, 13 yards and another first down.
Every time we watch Fred Jackson, we see him doing things like this, slicing and dicing and carving up NFL defenses despite his 33 years of age. The oldest running back in the National Football League, running like a young man, still difficult to tackle and get on the ground.
Jackson has spent his entire career with the Bills. Back-to-back first down plays. You see now the total yardage number starting to rise. And a timeout taken.
First charge timeout, Houston.
That defense suddenly on its heels, forced to burn a timeout. Buffalo threatening again. Timeout.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by the Home Depot. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot. And by Chick-fil-A. We didn't invent the chicken, just the chicken sandwich.
3-0 your score. Buffalo with possession, driving. Second time that they've been deep inside Houston territory. Texans rookie head coach Bill O'Brien obviously concerned. Can his defense hold here? First and 10 from the 21. Draw play. This is Spiller making one miss. Spiller inside the 15-yard line, close to the 10. Watt had him, Solomon, in the backfield. Spiller made a miss.
It sure looked like he was going to have him. I can tell you right now, they're just doing a really good job of getting outside. Now take a look. Here comes J.J. Watt. Look at that. There are several defenders who look like they could have had him. There's J.J. right there, missing right at the feet. C.J. Spiller.
9-yard run. Now a chance to maybe take a shot on second and short. Screen pass and Spiller again, juking inside the 10. First down and more for Buffalo. Goal to go. 7 yards through the air before Cushing brings him down.
And this is what I thought I'd see from this Buffalo offense to begin the game. A lot of misdirection stuff, a lot of quick hitting plays to get C.J. Spiller and Fred Jackson going. It slows down the pass rush. It really helps to get the defense off balance. You can see after the fumble from Andre Johnson, they're now knocking on the door to get more points.
Doug Marone going deep into the playbook. 8th play of the drive. That has covered 59 yards to this point. First and goal from the 5. Manuel, end zone, caught. Watkins, touchdown. And Buffalo builds on its lead. 5 yards. Manuel to the rookie Watkins.
It's just pure isolation and trust that Sammy Watkins is going to get across the face of the defender. I think it's Daryl Morris. But look, he's just going to come from out here, and they don't get the coverage dropping back. See, Cushion doesn't get underneath it, and they're able to get underneath 26 Daryl Morris for a nice, easy throw. Now, Cushion's got to be able to pull back out of that and get underneath that route. He doesn't get back in time. You can see the defender can't keep Watkins from making the catch.
Second touchdown catch in the budding career of Sammy Watkins, whom they paid a steep price to take 4th overall. Carpenter's point after is good, and the Buffalo Bills trying to get to 3-1 for the first time in 3 years. Build on their lead at 10-0 as they capitalize on the Johnson fumble.
Yeah, take another look at the touchdown, because Watkins just going to, be out here. He's going to come over the middle of the field. The vision's going to be here, but look, if you're Brian Cushion, you got to drop out, get underneath that route, because the quarterback is expecting help inside. And see, Cushion doesn't move fast enough to get out and underneath it. And then Morris can't keep Watkins from getting across his face. So it's not just one player getting beat. It's 2 players in the defensive scheme that don't execute their responsibility. And Daniels got himself a touchdown.
They finally protected him, kept him upright. And an emotional day for Sammy Watkins today across the field from a guy he has described to be his older brother, DeAndre Hopkins, whom played with at Clemson.
He said he practically lived with and spent the night at the home of DeAndre Hopkins, who grew up in the Clemson area. And Sammy Watkins went there, and then what did DeAndre Hopkins tell us? He said, we knew day one as a freshman that Sammy Watkins would be a phenomenal impact player, not just at the collegiate level, but now you can see him getting it done in Buffalo.
Watkins says that Hopkins took him under his wing, credits Hopkins with teaching him how to be a proper route runner. And Watkins putting his talents on display, with Buffalo now out in front 10-0, and they're not the only former Clemson stars on the field today. You see what Spiller has done. Some incredible playmakers that program has produced in recent years.
Nice Clemson connection. All 3 guys first-round picks. C.J. Spiller, DeAndre Hopkins, and Sammy Watkins goes in the first round of the 2014 draft. One of those young, talented receivers we talked about around E.J. Manuel has got to play well. If that offense and that young quarterback is going to develop, the talent around him has to develop. And now it's going to be Hopkins' turn to see what he can do for his offense.
Texans, if you've just joined us, just 5 first downs to this point and 81 yards of total offense. Fitzpatrick hit as he throws, airs it out there in the field. It is intercepted. An incredible play by Leotis. McKelvin snatched it out of the airs away from Hopkins.
Last week,
they will mark him down right after the catch as Houston turns it over for the 2nd straight possession.
Last week we saw DeAndre Hopkins make an incredible catch on this kind of throw. Look at McKelvin. He's on the top side of the shoulder.
Look like, and he's down by contact.
Look at this. Wow. He took it away from Hopkins. Just an incredible interception. Look at that. It looked like Hopkins had it for a second, and then McKelvin's able to pry it loose before he makes contact with the ground.
2nd pick of the young season for McKelvin. Former 1st-round pick out of Troy. So 2 plays for Houston, 2 turnovers. And now it looks like they will review that play. Turnovers and scores, of course, subject to automatic review. Now, this is nothing new for Fitzpatrick. Did not have a pick over the first 2 weeks. Was very careful with it. Last week, couldn't really protect him as well. 3 picks.
He was just unleveled there by Jerry Hughes coming off the corner. Look at that. It's up everyone. Both guys can come down with it, but it's McKelvin. Looked like he catches it and controls it even after making contact with the ground.
Call on the field is an interception, so they need conclusive evidence to overturn. If it stands, it'll be the 2nd interception for McKelvin. Well, Hopkins, for anyone who missed that Texans game last Sunday, had a catch.
Wow.
That Solomon, for me, I don't think I've ever seen a catch like that. This play was negated in a legal formation, a 53-yard play.
That's this week. Look at that. Very similar.
They continue to look at the review. Let's bring in our officiating expert, Mike Carey. Mike, take us through.
Sparrow, what you have is control in the air, contact in the air, control when he hits the ground, so you'll have an interception and down by contact. This play will be confirmed.
Well, Mike, I think as we take a look at it, he also controls it after he makes contact with the ground. What are you seeing there?
Absolutely. It's a clear control through the whole process, and there was contact while he was on the ground as well as in the air. So this is a clear-cut one, so we'll have a confirmation of an interception and down by contact.
I think it's incredible. We have really good pictures, not enough evidence to even try to turn it over. The officials actually got this one right, didn't they, Mike?
Reviewing the play,
As they
ruling on the
usually
field
do.
stands. First down, Buffalo.
All right, so Mike is all over it. Mike Carey, our officiating expert in New York. So Fitzpatrick with his 4th interception here in the last 6 quarters.
Take another look at it. Here's McKelvin. See, he rakes it out, but then he catches, as Mike Carey said, catches and controls it throughout the entire process.
So McKelvin, the former first-round pick, gives it back to the offense.
47 seconds.
And Bill O'Brien's offense, this very complex offense that he has brought over from New England, clearly still a work in progress, even after that 2-0 start.
Just a great play by the defender, let's be honest. I mean, you know, quarterback was hit hard, but still drove the ball down the field, gave Hopkins a chance to make a play, and Hopkins has asserted himself in his 2nd year, demanding the football a little bit more. Had a chance to make it, but give Leotis McKelvin a lot of credit. He went out, fought for the football. He was at the highest point, came down with it. I don't think you shy away from taking even more chances like that if I'm the Houston Texans on offense.
E.J. Manuel started 1 of 6. He's completed 8 of his last 10. 1st and 10, has a man wide open, and he missed it. It was Watkins. Just running a simple crossing route over the middle of the field, and Manuel overthrew him.
Yeah, he talked about this because we saw this happen last week. See, he's going to come across the middle of the field. There's vision there, but then you've got to be able to compose yourself. Remember, he told us we're just going to cut it loose, and then I'm just not going to try to guide it. But look, he does try to guide it. He overthrow a wide open Sammy Watkins. So he's finding the open receiver now, but just not able to sync it up and have accuracy on the throw.
Accuracy was really his Achilles heel as a rookie last season. As Manuel throws it far side, it's caught. That time connects with Watkins, who has now become the workhorse for the offense. Tackle made by Joseph. When you look at Manuel's numbers last year, one of the lowest interception rates for a first-year quarterback, but as you mentioned, accuracy was an issue for him.
And that's the thing. Even in college at Florida State, did not throw a lot of interceptions throughout his career there. But he would like to see the higher completion percentage as the young quarterback progresses. He's got some talent around him. We talked about it. The protection has improved. They sprinkled in the run game, some screen plays.
3rd.
They burned timeouts, boy, and squandered them.
Buffalo. 30-second timeout.
So we mentioned Manuel struggled at the start, missed 5 of his first 6 throws, but now starting to pick up some steam.
Yeah, on the last drive, look, they not only sprinkled it around in terms of throwing it, but how about running it, whether it's with Fred Jackson, here with C.J. Spiller. And then when it's time to throw it, he's finding multiple guys to get the ball to, mainly that of Sammy Watkins. You love the fact that they have good pass distribution, but also they're sprinkling in some run plays as well.
Doug Marrone, a guy who is such an accomplished offensive coach, trying to get this unit going. 2nd-year quarterback, a couple of rookie starters today in his offensive line. And after a slow start, they've got a 10-point lead, 5:01 to play here in the 2nd. And as we continue from NRG Stadium in Houston, 71,000 plus. One of these teams will end the day at 3-1 as they try to climb the ranks in the AFC. Play action, they fake the end around. This is Spiller. Across midfield into Houston territory at the 49-yard line, forced out by Jackson after a pickup of 5 for Buffalo.
Ryan Fitzpatrick understanding you can't turn the ball over. We said it at the top of the show that his ability to protect the football is paramount to their ability to win the football game. Already trailing 10-0, then come out and get another turnover and put this Buffalo offense on a short field. You can see by way of time of possession and overall plays right now, Buffalo, they're carrying the fight.
Keep in mind, Buffalo out of timeouts, plenty of time remaining, however. It's done at 4:30 to play. Spiller taken on by Swearinger, ball comes loose. Buffalo recovers. Chantrell Henderson, one of their rookie starters up front, falling on the football. The 7th-round pick out of Miami.
Yeah, look at DJ Swearinger right there, raking the ball out from CJ Spiller. And then his big offensive tackle comes along and falls on it. Henderson's one of those rookie offensive linemen that's starting today, along with Cyril Richardson in place of Chris Williams.
That Houston secondary has forced 6 fumbles, leads the NFL. Swearinger nearly got another one. 3rd and 4. Manuel, incomplete. Has been unable to connect with Robert Woods so far. 4th down and Buffalo will punt.
Daryl Morris times this one up perfectly. Doesn't allow the player to get across his face. He breaks on Woods, come along, and is able to tip it away. Looked like Woods, as he got his head around, he was able to get a hand on it as well.
Sally, you wonder if Manuel was early with the throw or Woods was just late turning around.
Yeah, just either way, a lack of being synced up between the quarterback and wide receiver.
Schmidt, the first-year punter. Fair catch signaled by Martin. Takes a Texans bounce, and they will have it from the 20. Tonight on 60 Minutes, there are a lot of questions for President Obama, and he'll answer them only on 60 Minutes, plus the founder of internet giant Alibaba. Tonight, 60 Minutes, only CBS. Spiro Ditas, Solomon Wilcots, our entire CBS crew with you. This Houston offense that has been shut out till this point.
They were moving the ball on that very last possession until the turnover. They've had turnovers on their last 2 possessions.
Here's Arian Foster, non-factor to this point. Solomon, you wonder where his health is. He was expected to get his usual workload, but just has not had any imprint yet on this game. There's Mario Williams, 2nd time he's here against his old team. Left in 2012, signed the most lucrative contract for a defensive player in league history at the time. And there's such a high
expectation, as you would say.
And he's been so good, but it just seems like people always want a little more from Mario, but he has put up some incredible numbers over the first 9 years of his career. Here's Fitzpatrick, 2nd and 6. Foster, a little delayed draw play across the 25 out to the 27. Fitzpatrick said that this was a meaningful game. Mario Williams kind of downplayed it when we spoke to him yesterday.
Yeah, you know, he said when he left here, he said it was with goodwill between he and the owner, Bob McNair, who he really cherished, you know, but getting back to the expectation part of it, he says, hey, I expect to get 20 or more sacks. But he's very proud that the other guys along the line of scrimmage playing on that defense, they also have a high sack total. He believes that he lends to that. 41 of their 57 sacks 1 year ago were had by the defensive line.
Williams, the first overall pick in 06. Nice screen pass, Foster. Breaking a tackle, 1st down and a lot more. 17 yards up the sideline. Tackle made by Graham as that takes us to the 2-minute warning. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report, we'll send you to New York. JB, Tony, Bart Boomer, and Coach Cowher will have all the latest scores and highlights. Week 4 around the NFL, plus a preview of Thursday Night Football coming up on CBS and NFL Network. The Verizon Halftime Report comes your way next. Final 2 minutes, Texans driving, desperately trying to get some points on the board. 2 timeouts left. This is 1st and 10. And Solomon, the run game up till this point has generated next to nothing.
Yeah, but you know what? They're continuing to hammer away. Remember, Foster gets better as the game goes on. It's also provided them some play action opportunities to take shots down the field and get receivers open. So that's why you continue to hammer away at it. I expect them to do that within the final 2 minutes. Here in the first half, and then take a shot down the field to try to get some points on the board. before they head in at halftime.
Injury inside 2 minutes requires a timeout.
So injury now to
This is their first excess timeout.
Buffalo defender. They're out of timeouts here inside of 2 minutes, so team has to burn a timeout. As you see and hear the call from Bill Vinovich. 10-0 lead for Buffalo, minute 48 to play. This is a Buffalo defense that lost one of their top performers, inside linebacker Kiko Alonso, suffering that torn ACL back in July. Nearly 160 tackles a year ago. As they continue to look at Marcel Darius.
Losing a player like Kiko Alonso is a huge setback for this defense, and can only hope that Darius is going to be okay. There you see him, 99, driving, knee goes into the ground.
See his helmet almost twist off. Darius, a Pro Bowler for the first time in his career last year.
Able to run off. That's good. He looked good coming off the field.
Good to see a smile on his face. And so they'll look at the running backs. Fitzpatrick is one of the top run teams in the NFL through week 3.
Well, yeah, that is simply amazing. So many attempts, but not a whole lot to show for it. Of course, that's why you stay patient with the run game. Take a look at Jim Schwartz, defensive coordinator for the Buffalo Bills right now, doing a good job of forcing the Texans offense to play one-handed. In other words, you've got to throw it if you're going to beat them, because they're going to take away the run game. If I'm on the Houston Texans side, I'm going to continue to feed it to Foster. You know he gets stronger and better as the game goes on. I think that would be the way to go, particularly here down inside the final 2 minutes of the half.
Fitzpatrick nowhere to throw, across his body under duress. And the Texans now will have to go deep into the playbook on a 3rd and 9 play. Pressure from Jerry Hughes.
And this is what Mario Williams even talked about. We want to be able to strip him of the run game. We want to force Ryan Fitzpatrick to have to drop back and throw it on every single down. And if you become one-dimensional, that's when that defensive line for the Bills can heat up and start to put pressure on the quarterback.
Arian Foster, the lone setback. Texans with 2 timeouts left. Buffalo will get a chance if they can hold him here. Pocket collapses again. Fitzpatrick's going to run for it. Has the first down needed to get to the 46. Moves the chains with 12 yards on the ground. 1st and 10 Texans.
I don't think we give Ryan Fitzpatrick enough credit for how competitive he is. He refuses to have to punt this football. He's going to give his body up right here. No, he's going to take a lick. No, he's going to get hit. But he gives it up just to be able to convert and pick up the first down.
Fitzpatrick, 4-year run as Buffalo's quarterback after being cut after the 2012 season. A hard hit. As Garrett Graham leveled after the catch, 9 yards, will set up a 2nd and short.
How big was that 3rd down play?
Second charge timeout.
This is what this football team talks about in terms of situational football. Understanding the situation so that they can make plays and convert those kind of 3rd downs.
Another reminder coming up, the Verizon halftime report will send you to New York. Guys standing by, JB Tony, Bart Boomer, and Coach Cowher will take you around the league. Also a preview of the Thursday night game coming up on CBS and NFL Network. It's all to come on the Verizon halftime report. Very complex playbook for Bill O'Brien here. And situational football, every coach prepares his team for it, but O'Brien really a stickler in that area.
Especially with a quarterback, as he tells Ryan Fitzpatrick, you've got to see the game through my eyes. In other words, it's a 3rd down play. The defense turn their back to you, man-to-man coverage. Don't try to throw it. Just take off and run it. And that's exactly what he did on the play.
Texans trying to get to 3-1 for only the 3rd time in franchise history. 2 first-half turnovers, still looking for their first points. Wide open man, it's caught! Touchdown, Hopkins! 35 yards, and the Texans finally on the board.
They get Corey Graham. It's all about matchups in the National Football League, and you get DeAndre Hopkins matched
There is
up.
a flag, Solly, on the field. It's in the back of the end zone. Could be for excessive celebration.
After the touchdown, unsportsmanlike conduct, offense number 10, going to the ground in the end zone. That 15-yard penalty being enforced on the kickoff. That sounds good.
Here it is, one-on-one coverage. Look, he just runs right by him. Eyes in the backfield of Corey Graham. You're not going to be able to stay with DeAndre Hopkins if you're looking in the backfield. And Ryan Fitzpatrick just throws a laser to Hopkins for the touchdown.
35-yard touchdown. There is a marker on the point after from Bullock. So fitting that the two young receivers, such a strong bond between them, Watkins and Hopkins, have accounted for the game's only 2 touchdowns.
Illegal formation, defense, 5-yard penalty on the kickoff. Those 2 penalties will net to a 10-yard penalty.
See, if you're Ryan Fitzpatrick, you know, you see single high coverage. What you're looking for is your best matchup. See, he's going to look out here. Single high coverage, you look and say, whoa, I got one-on-one over here with Hopkins going up the field. That's the matchup I want. Single high coverage tells you it's man-to-man on the outside. Look, he throws it. He trusts that Hopkins is going to be able to win. And look, the safety can't get over there in time. So it's a good read by Fitzpatrick and then a wonderful, accurate throw from the quarterback. And DeAndre Hopkins does the rest.
Has to feel good if you're Ryan Fitzpatrick, that last interception. And one thing about Fitzpatrick, mistakes don't deter him. He still has that gunslinger in him deep down, doesn't he?
He talked about it, you know, the competitiveness that he plays with. And that's what he loves about Bill O'Brien. He said the one thing we're going to do is we're going to stay aggressive. He said, but what he has to do is not get careless with the football, throwing interceptions while staying aggressive. And we talked about that at the top of the game. Last week he felt like he was overly aggressive with the 3 interceptions and wanted to be a little bit more temperate here today, taking critical chances when the opportunity presented itself. I think one-on-one opportunity against Corey Graham, that's a huge opportunity to create a play.
Fitzpatrick almost hurt by his teammate Ryan Allen. A little bit overzealous on the touchdown celebration. There's a Harvard guy in the stands.
There you go.
Fitzpatrick.
But you love the fact that Fitzpatrick is a guy that enjoys playing football. This is now his 5th NFL team in 10 years in the National Football League. But everywhere he goes, he finds himself in that starting role. Coaches seem to love him, and he tends to make plays like the one you just saw.
Third team that he's been with in the last 3 years. Last year behind Jake Locker in Tennessee. Spiller so dangerous up the sideline across the 30, brought down at about the 34-yard line. But a critical play on that last drive to set up the Hopkins touchdown.
Yeah, in Houston they call it situational football. 3rd down play. Look at toughness. He recognizes the situation in the moment. So it's the run and then the throw, and he's celebrating the chest bump with Ryan Mallett. And then a bump to the chin as well. He's taking a beating.
Solomon, young quarterback, 2 rookies on the offensive line. You've got no timeouts to take a shot here, or you take a knee and get into the locker room?
No, I think you can take a shot, providing the defense gives you the look that allows you to take that shot.
Manuel from the gun, 1st and 10, over the middle, hit hard as he throws. J.J. Watt, who, if you've just joined us, was called for 2 roughing the passer penalties for going low on Manuel. That time coming with the pressure.
Yeah, but he's getting more pressure. Look at the jersey there of Manuel. He's getting even more dirty. He's been on the ground the entire first half, and usually it's because J.J. Watt is climbing all over him.
Bill O'Brien, visit with him Friday, said the thing that impresses him most about Watt, his stamina, never gets tired. 2nd and 10. Jackson across the 40, 45, 1st down and more. Again, Buffalo is out of timeouts, 13 yards to Jackson. Morris on the stop.
Remember, they're without timeouts, so now they've got to find their target line. Got to be able to get into field goal range.
Manuel, quick drop, hard hit. Morris, who has gotten his uniform dirty in the first half. Now they'll have to hurry up. No timeouts left. Manuel wants to take one more shot.
He's going to spike it to stop the clock so they can set it. 7 seconds gives you about one more time. I don't know. Without any timeouts, 7 seconds, I don't know if it gives you enough to be able to create a big play to get into field goal range and stop the clock, because they would have to then line up and try to spike the ball to stop the clock, not having any timeouts left. To see where the target line is just before you hit that 35-yard line, right around the 36-yard line there. I don't know that 7 seconds is going to be enough to complete a pass to get inside the 36-yard line and then get to the line of scrimmage and spike it and stop the clock again.
Carpenter hit a 60-yarder back in 2010. Manuel, quick drop, finds Jackson. They're going to run out of time. Jackson gets to the sideline, but not before the clock hits zeros to take us to halftime. So the Buffalo Bills come out, score the first 10 points before Ryan Fitzpatrick and company finally get onto the scoreboard. And that is where we sit as we reach halftime in Houston. Ryan Fitzpatrick against his old mates, 10-7 your score. We'll return with the Verizon halftime report after this message and a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Just about ready for the start of the third quarter. 10-7 your score in Houston. Bills in front of the Texans. Welcome back to the NFL on CBS. Spiro Thetis and Solomon Wilcots took Houston nearly till the end of that first half. Fitzpatrick finally gets him on the board.
Yeah, but I think you have to really put the focus on E.J. Manuel, the young quarterback, going on the road where he typically hasn't played real well. They really have controlled the fight simply because they've been able to run the football for 74 yards in the first half. And then by running the ball, remember, J.J. Watt had been wreaking havoc. But once they started running the ball, they're able to control him. And then they come up with 2 turnovers in the first half. And so it allows them to take the lead. They got to continue to run it in the second half and continue to know where J.J. Watt is on every single play.
All right, let's take a look at some of the highlights in that first half. Our DirecTV Ultimate Picture Cam. Ryan Fitzpatrick recovering from the interception. 35-yard touchdown pass play to the second-year receiver, DeAndre Hopkins. And that is where we stand as we are ready for the second half kickoff. First half stats. That Houston Texans offense that struggled so mightily. 2 turnovers, the fumble lost by Andre Johnson. First time he's fumbled in a game in 6 years, October of 2008. The last time it happened, and look at the time of possession disparity.
And that's what we talk about. When you can run the football, you can really carry the fight to the opponent. You can dominate time of possession. The only thing I thought the Bills could have done better in the first half, Spiro, was protect those timeouts. They've had to squander a few of their timeouts early in the half because there were confusion down inside the red zone. If they would have had one of those timeouts in their back pocket on that final drive, I think they clearly probably could have put 3 more points on the board before halftime. So they've got to do a better job of managing red zone possessions here in the second half.
Jordan Gay's kick through the back of the end zone. Daniel Manning watches it sail through. Texans will have it from the 20. Quarterback comparison, the journeyman Fitzpatrick. Slow start. Both guys very economical.
Not about the yards as much as it is completions and avoiding the dreaded interception. We told you both quarterbacks had to protect the football. Mainly Ryan Fitzpatrick. He's got to do a better job of protecting it. And what's not seen there is the fumble by Andre Johnson. 2 consecutive possessions for the Houston Texans turned out to be turnovers and points on the board for Buffalo.
Arian Foster, the 3-time Pro Bowler. Question mark today. Non-factor so far with that hamstring injury. Split out to the bottom of your picture. Fitzpatrick's pass on 1st and 10, batted up high in the air. It is intercepted. Still awaiting for the official signal, and it is Buffalo football. It'll officially go down as Fitzpatrick's 2nd interception on the day, the 5th one that he has thrown now in the last 7 quarters. Nigel Bradham is the injured Bill defender.
This is incredible. We just said it. We just talked about it. And it's going to go right off the helmet, it appeared. See if Kyle Williams gets a hand. Yeah, the big Kyle Williams in that sea of humanity gets a hand up. Look at it. And then it's intercepted by the Buffalo Bills.
Nigel Bradham now being looked at on the training table on that Buffalo sideline. There's Kyle Williams, called Ryan Fitzpatrick one of his all-time favorite teammates. Comes up with an enormous play, deflecting it up high in the air. And now Buffalo with the short field. Can they be opportunistic here, Solomon, and Spiller with a first down run?
Yeah, I think, Bert, you got to stay with the run game, but Fitzpatrick, it's kind of a fortuitous bounce for the Buffalo Bills. Look at that, Kyle Williams. He gets his hand on it. He's being double teamed at the line of scrimmage. Big 95 gets a hand up, bats it up, and Bradham's able to come down with it. This is one of the maybe underrated defensive linemen in the league, is Kyle Williams. Great player.
Pro Bowler last season. This is Spiller on a 2nd and 6 play. So dangerous with those juke moves across the line of scrimmage. Inside the 15, coming close to the 10. Tackle made by the nose tackle Poe, the 3rd-year man out of Mississippi.
Now, you know that Doug Marrone's going to take a shot here, right? On 3rd and 2, unless you get Fred Jackson in there, then I think you maybe check and audible out. If you can spread them out and you have the advantage in the box, then go ahead and check to a run. But other than that, you look to take advantage of a one-on-one opportunity in the passing game.
Chandler in motion. This is 3rd and 2. Texans coming on the blitz. Manuel intercepted by Watt. And the big fella lumbering inside the 40. No one is going to catch Watt into the end zone for the pick 6.
Incredible.
79 yards on the return from J.J. Watt.
We talk about situational football. It's what Bill O'Brien teaches guys on both offense and defense. He understands the situation, Spiro, on 3rd down. Look, back out of the backfield. He knows it. He peels off. See? He sees the back goes by him, and all he does is jump the passing lane, expecting Manuel to throw the ball. Manuel's not going to take a sack there. So you see back coming out, and all J.J. Watt did is he runs to the point of intercept and playing the passing lane.
As if he hadn't done everything else for this team, Watt with his first career pick and brings it back 79 yards to the house.
What a player, what a man. You're going to build a franchise. You might want to start with number 99. He's worth every penny.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Without a heart, it's just a machine. The United States Marine Corps. The few, the proud, the Marines. And by Toyota Care. Scheduled maintenance, no cost.
J.J. Watt turning this game on its head, wreaking havoc for Houston.
Oh, we told you he can line up just about anywhere and do just about anything, whether it's getting sacks, whether it's a block PAT, and whether he's just catching a touchdown as a tight end on the offense, something he did in college, and now today, getting his first regular season interception and then taking it all the way to the house. You see the athleticism, the smart, the ability to hit and hustle, and what did Billy O'Brien tell us? Said he's got stamina unlike any other football player I've ever seen. He's going 100 miles an hour every single play for the complete 4 quarters of the game.
Officially, they call it an 80-yard return from Watt. First regular season pick of his career. He did have one in the 2012 postseason. Spiller running out of bounds across the 20 as we get our Wisdom of Solomon. We'll get to it here in just a moment as E.J. Manuel comes back onto the field. There is Watt. Early stages, 3rd quarter, first career INT pick 6.
He is something else. What did he say, Spiro? We said, you just look like you're out there having fun, having a good time. He said, that's because it's a game. It's a game. That's why I'm out there having fun. And I think the fans here in Houston and even around the National Football League, they feed on his energy and love the way that he approaches the game of football.
Jackson. How do the Bills respond now as Jackson across the 25-yard line to the 28. 7 hard-fought yards from Jackson.
Well, I think you respond by keeping your composure. If you're Doug Marrone, you're calling plays. I expected him to maybe try to throw it down there inside the red zone, but you got to get back to pounding the run game, trying to slow down J.J. Watt. We said they need to know where he is on each and every play.
Jackson stays on the field. Long setback. They go play action. Manuel sold it well, but overthrew Woods again.
You know, sometimes Manuel's just got to take the easy receiver. He had Chandler open in front of him. Now take a look. See, the tight end's going to come here. He's going to be open, but he goes deeper. See, why wouldn't you throw it to Chandler, who's right there in front of your face, as opposed to going down the field where your receiver is double covered? Sometimes he even said it. He can overthink things, and sometimes you just got to take the simple play.
Third and short. It is incomplete. Off the hands of Watkins. Jonathan Joseph, the 9th-year corner, on the coverage.
You know, ball placement is so critical in the National Football League. Getting the ball high on the outside for the receiver where only he can get it, as opposed to a little late, low, and behind the receiver, Sammy Watkins, where now Jonathan Joseph has an opportunity to get it. You know, Manuel's doing a good job, but you know, just a fraction of an inch in terms of ball placement is turning out to be a huge difference.
Colton Schmidt on to punt it again, the first-year man out of Cal Davis. Signed a free agent contract. Keyshawn Martin from his own 35. Martin trying to find the edge, and he is met by a Buffalo wall. No gain on the return. 37-yard punt. J.J. Watt, the 25-year-old star, giving Houston its first lead of the afternoon. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Monday on CBS, NCIS Los Angeles moves to its new night and time. Don't miss LL Cool J, Chris O'Donnell in the season premiere Monday night, 10/9 Central, only CBS. J.J. Watt, former Defensive Player of the Year. Look what he's done already today. First career interception. First pick six of a career that has been extraordinary, to say the least. First pick coming in the regular season. Did have one, as we mentioned earlier, in the playoffs in 2012.
He plays with an intensity that if you could bottle it up and spread it around, oh my goodness. I mean, that's a rare player you're looking at in J.J. Watt.
Signed a 6-year, $100 million extension September the 2nd, just 5 days before the opener. And boy, has that yielded dividends already. Fitzpatrick, tough throw on first down, caught by Graham. Wrestling it away for a pickup of 12. Duke Williams, the second-year safety, couldn't snatch it from him.
That was a good play by Fitzpatrick. He moves around and buys time to get it to his tight end coming across the field right there. It's just a really good throw, good movement, good catch by Garrett Graham.
Clock continues to run still. About 11 and change to play, third quarter. Play action from Fitzpatrick on first and 10. Incomplete. It was C.J. Fedorowicz, the rookie tight end out of Iowa. Couldn't keep possession after the hard hit from Aaron Williams.
There he was going to take it. He's open. Take a look. Right down the seam. Right there. Ball's going to come. Got to haul it in. We talked about ball placement too. The ball just a hair behind, but Fitzpatrick said you got to hold on to that one. They're going to hit you, but you got to catch it, pay it off.
Fedorowicz taken in third round by Houston. What does O'Brien dial up here for Fitzpatrick on 2nd and 10 from the 46? Under pressure on the throw. Graham, the closest receiver. And now it will be 3rd and long.
That's one of those plays where, you know, you take a look at Bill O'Brien. He wants the quarterback to see things through his eyes, understanding the situation. You know, don't take a sack there. Just throw it away for the incompletion. Now on 3rd and 10, you know, this is one of those moments where some quarterbacks will try to force it, trying to pick up that first down, understanding where you're at in the ball game. Just had a big play by the defense. Don't give up your momentum because you're trying to force the ball in coverage and risk turning it over on this critical 3rd down play.
Fitzpatrick bobbled the snap, gets it off in time. This is Damaris Johnson, his first reception. Very close to that first down. Needed to get to about the 43-yard line. Preston Brown able to run him out of bounds, and the officials say 1st and 10 for the Texans.
I like this play. It's just a real good play. Now look at the misdirection coming this way. And then they get blockers. Everyone out in front of the talented young receiver Johnson. Take a look at him. Blockers all out in front. They seal the edge, and his speed does the rest. But it started with the misdirection coming toward the other side of the field.
Johnson, the 30-year man out of Tulsa, claimed off waivers after the final cutdown from Philadelphia in late August. Big pass play there to give him a first down in Buffalo territory. This is Foster, and he gets something going in the second half. Foster, if you've just joined us, 7 rushes for only 4 yards as they will face a 2nd and short.
But his presence on the field means everything. It means an extra defender in the box trying to stop your run game, and one fewer defender on the back end in the secondary, allowing Andre Johnson and DeAndre Hopkins and those tight ends to work on the second level of the defense. That's what Arian Foster means to this offense.
This is 2nd and 7. Over the middle, Foster out of the backfield. O'Brien says he's one of the most complete backs he's ever been around. Can obviously run it. Great pass catcher in his career. And hard to believe this guy was undrafted back in 2009.
Yeah, but he has already overexceeded those expectations. Talked about the workhorse, his ability to run it, catch it, and even pass protect.
First down play between Fitzpatrick and his stud running back. 7th play of the drive. This is Foster fighting to try to get back to the line of scrimmage. As we get a report from the Buffalo sideline, linebacker Nigel Bradham. It is a knee injury, and he will not return. So you mentioned the linebacking core and the defense taking a major hit back in the offseason in July. Back in camp, Kiko Alonso suffering that torn ACL. There's Jim Schwartz, first-year defensive coordinator, taking over after the departure of Mike Pettin to Cleveland. Fitzpatrick has Foster open inside the 25, lunges forward to the 23. Close to another first down. 7 yards for Houston.
Well, they do a really good job of clearing out the underneath zone. Watch, they'll run, you know, and here you're going to see them come out and just check down right here, but they clear out the air. See the linebackers all take off and run? They all take off because Andre Johnson and DeAndre Hopkins are screaming down the field. You got to cover those guys deep. Leaves Foster open on the check down.
Movement pre-snap. Did they get Williams to jump?
Penalty results in a first down.
Fitzpatrick getting his old buddy back for the earlier pick.
Yeah, hard count. And there he is. You know, he knows he bid on it. I'm sure Fitzpatrick is saying, I got you, big guy.
Those two so close during Fitzpatrick's 4 years in Buffalo. 9th play of the drive. That is chewed up nearly 4 minutes. Fitzpatrick bullet pass is caught. Andre Johnson. Had the fumble earlier, and that time Sally knew the hit was coming. Maintains possession.
Yeah, the hit from Aaron Williams right there. You got to like the way Aaron really was able to time that up. Didn't go to the head, didn't try to risk bodily harm, but just had good target zone in terms of the hit on Andre Johnson.
5 catches for Johnson, 56 yards, including a 25-yarder earlier. Play clock down to 2. This is 2nd and 6. Fitzpatrick thought about running it, but very quickly wrapped up by Darius, who left the game briefly earlier. Loss of a couple.
And now as you move to, what is it, 3rd down on the play, you've got to be able to try to take a shot in the end zone, but the tight ends have been getting open as well. And you don't necessarily have to go for a touchdown here. You can still pick up a first down. All you got to do is get inside of the 8-yard line. See what the Texans have done in the red zone so far.
Critical 3rd and 8. Buffalo coming with the
Hard
blitz.
count.
All kinds of movement.
Another hard count by the quarterback. Try to get him to jump. But his guys moved as well.
False start. Offense number 76. 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
That's the 2-time Pro Bowler Dwayne Brown who jumped.
Now, Bill O'Brien said this hurts us as a play caller because the check down running back coming out of the backfield would have been a good option for Fitzpatrick. You got obviously an arm to throw it into the end zone, but watch him jump right there. There's the left tackle, Dwayne Brown. Once he moved, they were in trouble.
5th penalty against the Texans. Foster back onto the field. Lines up in the backfield on 3rd and 13. Fitzpatrick fumbles the snap. Still going, and he is set. It's Kyle Williams getting him around the ankles. As suddenly Houston going backwards.
Chris Myers, maybe he snapped it beforehand, but I think he just bobbled this one, right? See, it hit him in the hand. He just didn't catch it. Just didn't catch it cleanly, and now he's got to escape. But they have a loss on the play right after the penalty. It's like the offense moved backwards on their last couple of snaps.
Here's Randy Bullock, the 3rd-year kicker. Had a consecutive streak of 17 straight games with a field goal that ended back in week 2. This one from 42 yards out. Has the distance, and it is perfectly through the uprights. So Houston tacks on 3, their lead at 7.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by AT&T, mobilizing your world. And by DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you gotta get DirecTV.
.42-yard field goal by Randy Bullock. 17-10 Houston. Well, the NFL celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month in September. On Tuesday, the Texans visited the Neighborhood Center's Baker Ripley Charter School to conduct Play 60 drills. Neighborhood Centers, Inc. was the nonprofit chosen by the Hispanic Heritage Leadership Award winner for the Texans. Hear the stories of all the NFL by visiting NFL.com/Hispanic Heritage. 71,000 plus NRG Stadium, 124th consecutive sellout they've had here. C.J. Spiller takes a knee as we give you the wisdom of Solomon in week 4.
Take a look at some pass rushers who became cornerstones of their franchise. Mean Joe Green led the Steelers to 4 Super Bowl championships. Then Lawrence Taylor aided the Giants to 2 Super Bowl titles in his 13-year career. Bruce Smith led the Bills to 4 straight AFC championships. And how about J.J. Watt? Already a defensive player of the year, a do-it-all guy. And remember, the Texans once had a 1st overall pick and a guy named Mario Williams, who was the cornerstone back in the day. He's now playing for the Buffalo Bills.
That was 06. This is Spiller across the 25 out to the 28-yard line. As Mario Williams now patiently watches from that Buffalo sideline.
There he was a guy, remember, the 1st overall pick in the 2006 draft. He was drafted to be the cornerstone here with the Houston Texans. And now he's a part of a productive and talented defensive line with the Buffalo Bills. He's had 23 sacks over the last 2 years, so he's really productive in his own right.
2nd and short. They stay conservative there. You thought maybe they'd take a chance. Had to get to just past the 30 as the clock continues to run. 5:30 remaining.
You talk about being the cornerstone. High wattage for JJ. This is just this season. You know, and they're, first 3 to 4 games, 11 tackles, couple of sacks coming into today. And then the interception here and returned it for a touchdown. So they've built around a talented one and J.J. Watt.
We do give him the 1st down, 1st and 10. Little screen pass to Jackson. Gets to the edge, lot of room to maneuver. Close to another 1st down outside the 40. Brought down by Kareem Jackson, the 5th-year corner from Alabama, after a pickup of 9.
And everything they're doing now, they're going away from J.J. Watt. Look, he's coming from the left side, from the right side of the offense, I should say. Now they're going the other way. It's a smart thing to do if you're the Buffalo Bills. You got to know where he is on every single play. I'm sure Doug Marrone has accounted for it, talked to his team about it all week. But nonetheless, you still have to block him and do other things to slow him down.
Here's Manuel with a screen pass to Spiller. Getting to the edge, approaches midfield. It's funny, every time you sit and talk to one of these coaches and you ask them about J.J. Watt, the first thing they do, they kind of throw their head back and say, boy, can you believe that guy?
Watch here. They try to cut him. You try to cut him to get him on the ground because you want to go to his side of the field. They don't get him on the ground, but they do get Spiller to the outside. And yeah, I asked Bill O'Brien, I said, have you ever seen a player like J.J. Watt? He didn't even hesitate. He said, never. Absolutely never. He's a one of a kind.
80-yard pick six if you've just joined us to give the Texans their first lead. First and 10 play as they finally find Woods, the second-year receiver. Minimal gain, 3 yards, but Buffalo will hope that can get the young man going today.
Well, it's all part of these quick throws and quick screens. Get the ball over to Spiller or to Wood or to Watkins on the short throws. Hopefully they can create yards after the catch, but it really helps your offensive line. You don't have to block in pass protectors long.
Texans coming with the blitz. They blew it up. Kendrick Lewis coming from the edge. They dump him for a loss of 4.
Well, they were trying to go quick here, but they didn't account for Lewis coming up late in the box. He creeps up late on the left side, right there, and seeing he's unblocked. But he wasn't in the initial count of the protection because he was lined up deeper. He crept up to the line of scrimmage as E.J. Manuel started his cadence, so it was excellent disguising by Lewis, who was able to come in and make a play in the backfield.
Third and 10. Manuel over the middle. Incomplete. Underthrew Woods. Tough throw to make on the run.
Yeah, but you got to make that completion because he had an open receiver and he was under duress. Look, he dips underneath the swooping arm of J.J. Watt. And then as he gets out of the pocket, now you have to regain your composure right in here because you got time and make that completion. And he's not able to get the ball to his receiver who was open on the play, and had he caught it, it would have been a first down.
Keyshawn Martin back deep as Buffalo's drive stalls. Colton Schmidt on to punt it away. Now you had to like the response from Manuel, have the offense moving, but Houston holds defensively. And that one takes a Texans bounce into the end zone. So Buffalo down 7 on CBS. Oh, with NFL Now, never miss another game highlight ever. You'll get instant game highlights on every mobile device. Download the NFL Now app today. Learn more at NFL.com/now. Data rates may apply. Alongside Solomon Wilcots, our entire CBS crew, this is Spiro Ditas. We're in Houston. Ryan Fitzpatrick in Houston looking for what would be only the third 3-1 start in franchise history. Both teams at 2-1, trying to respond after losses last Sunday. First and 10 from the 20. Fitzpatrick play action, standing in, knew that the pressure was coming, and a late marker. This will be against Stephon Gilmore, the third-year corner out of South Carolina, defending against Johnson.
Gilmore working against Johnson. That ball came out quick from Ryan Fitzpatrick. Great release.
Bill Vinovich, our referee.
Holding. Defense number 24. 5-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
Now they're downfield. Beyond, once you get beyond 5 yards, you got to let them go. See, they're beyond 5 yards, and you saw the grab at the top of the shoulder on Andre Johnson by Gilmore. Soon you see cloth and separation, they're going to call it. Now here's the pressure in the face of Fitzpatrick. Small window, still gets it to Johnson, giving him a chance to make the play.
Keep in mind, Buffalo outside linebacker Nigel Bradham is out for the rest of the game with what the Bills are telling us is a knee injury. And now we're told Kyle Williams is done for the day, also with a knee injury. Big loss on the interior of that Buffalo defensive front. Fitzpatrick, bullet pass to Johnson, 15 yards and a first down.
They've got really good chemistry, good rhythm. This is great timing. Look at the stop route. As soon as he stops, the ball's right there. And if you're Gilmore, you don't have a shot on that play. It was just well timed between the quarterback and receiver. Fitzpatrick to Johnson.
Alfred Blue onto the field, the rookie running back giving Foster a spell. Johnson again. Penalty mark is thrown. Near side official as Johnson bullies his way to the 45-yard line as we await the penalty.
Several of these possessions they've had Johnson catch the ball consecutively, where it's clearly we're going to let you carry the offense on this possession, and he's responded.
Pass interference, offense number 76. Blocking downfield prior to the pass. 10-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
That's the second penalty today on their two-time All-Pro tackle, Dwayne Brown.
Hey, look at Billy O'Brien pleading his case to the refs. He said that he was on the line of scrimmage when he threw the block, that he wasn't downfield.
Clock starts moving again, minute 40 to play.
No, he wasn't on the line of scrimmage there, Coach. He fired out at the linebacker, maybe some 5 yards downfield.
First and 20 after the penalty, inside their own 30. Fitzpatrick sacked. And guess who? His old teammate and the ex-Texan Mario Williams. Penalty marker comes in, far side of the field, about 5 yards beyond the line of scrimmage.
He took apart the right tackle, Derek Newton. That's that old bull rush where he was able to come in and get the sack. And there was a penalty flag in the secondary out on the perimeter. But what a play for Mario Williams.
Defense number 21. 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
That's Leotis McKelvin, who had the pick back in the first half.
And
it's the Williams sack.
There it is, right there. See the hole? Right there, and pulling them down. See, if you're pulling cloth, particularly beyond 5 yards, they're going to call it every single time. They're not going to even care if it's overly disruptive. But as soon as they see that jersey stretch, they're going to call it.
Point of emphasis, obviously, in the offseason. Big play. That's Jay Frosch, the rookie fullback out of Auburn, up the sideline. Big first down for the Texans, a pickup of 29.
Good-looking route by Frosch. Real good-looking play. Comes across the formation. I think he's going to be lined up here, and he's going to end up catching it right over here. In fact, he comes out of the backfield. Comes out of the backfield is where he lined up. He's able to get over into the flat. They can't stop him from getting there.
First reception for Frosch in his brief NFL career. This is Alfred Blue, who we mentioned earlier, had his first career start last Sunday against the Giants. Very, very high on this young man who has an incredible story. He's overcome tragedy in his life. A lot of his close family members that have passed away. His family displaced by Hurricane Katrina.
And had 2 homes burned down because of a fire. I mean, he's overcome some very difficult trials and been able to overcome it. And what a really good football player.
Only started 7 games at LSU due to an ACL tear. So certainly found his way here in Houston. Minimal gain as they get Blue in the backfield, as that should take us to the end of the third quarter in Houston. J.J. Watt turning this game in the Texans' favor. That 80-yard pick six to give them their first lead. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Start of the fourth quarter, 17-10 Houston by a touchdown. One of these teams will end the day 3-1 as they continue to try to ascend up the ranks in the AFC. What a start that would be for Buffalo. Haven't been 3-1 since the 2011 season. Ryan Fitzpatrick, a couple of picks earlier. The journeyman quarterback, 5th stop in 10 years, 3rd team in the last 3. Facing his former team for the first time since he was released after the 2012 season. And now Houston has to burn a timeout.
Houston.
Certainly don't want to do that. Well, we talked about the long-standing relationship between the two coaches today, Bill O'Brien and Doug Marrone. Long-standing friendship going back to their days at Georgia Tech on George O'Leary's staff. They used to carpool to work together, countless hours in the film room next to each other. Spending some time before the game. They said they didn't want to talk. They'd see each other at the stadium, but what a moment for those two young men.
Yeah, and they talked about how the fact that when they were in those days at Georgia Tech, they said they were just coaching week to week. They didn't know if they would even have a job or a career in coaching. They could have never imagined where they are today, becoming head coaches in the National Football League. But boy, have they earned it. They've done a wonderful job. They both got their teams off this year to a 2-0 start and trying to avoid losing 2 consecutive games and falling to 500.
Interesting thing is their wives, Bill's wife Colleen, Doug's wife Helen, are almost probably closer than Bill and Doug are. They're college roommates at Boston College. And obviously both intently watching this game. The critical 3rd and 7 play. Did Houston jump to draw him offside? It was Jerry Hughes who came off the line for Buffalo. Here's Vinovich.
Neutral zone infraction. Defense number 55. 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
They're working that hard count. And Jerry Hughes, take a look on the left side, number 55. So he jumps right in there, and then you get movement by Dwayne Brown. But at that point, Hughes was still in that neutral zone.
Hughes, the 50th man out of TCU, revived his career with 10 sacks last season, a career high, after coming over in a trade from Indianapolis. They line up DeMaurice Johnson as the lone setback, and this one now has the feel of a preseason game. A lot of penalty markers.
Offense number 79. 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
That's the 3rd-year guard out of Miami of Ohio, Brandon Brooks.
Yeah, see, he moved before anyone started flinching. Everyone's a little shook. Just settle down, boys.
The clock, by the way, still hasn't started yet. Still showing 15 minutes. As we get to this 3rd and 7 play, they line up inside the 40. Johnson, the backup wide receiver, lines up in the backfield. Fitzpatrick looking left, airs it out far side. A collision between Johnson and Gilmore. No penalty marker. Incomplete as Johnson pleads his case.
Well, okay. If the receiver initiated contact, then they could throw a flag. But if there's incidental contact, in other words, if their feet get tangled up, and as you can see, he slowed down a little bit, and Andre Johnson ran into him. You could say it's sort of incidental, even though Gilmore kind of slowed up there, and that's why there's no flag. And plus, they can rule that the ball was uncatchable because it was so far down the field.
Oh, Bryant doesn't like the no call. Leckler, the question mark with injury today. Trying to pin him back inside the 20, and does just that. That's all they wanted from the 6-time All-Pro. E.J. Manuel back onto the field. Buffalo down 7. Week 4 continues later today on Fox. Then tonight, Sunday Night Football on NBC. Tomorrow night, Monday Night Football on ESPN. Patriots and the Chiefs. Early 4th quarter, E.J. Manuel in Buffalo. Down 7. This is 1st and 10. Nearly intercepted right through the hands of Kareem Jackson. Manuel so good at avoiding those kinds of mistakes. Okay. Texans nearly the pick.
Yeah, and see, when we talk about accuracy, watch where this ball is in relation to where the receiver is. See, it's behind him, and it's not necessarily on the front side shoulder of the receiver. In fact, the defender had a better opportunity to come away with that ball than the intended receiver.
This is Spiller. Dumping him down is Joseph. At the 10, they lose 2.
That was one heck of a play by the cornerback, Jonathan Joseph. The one thing with Spiller, you want him to bounce. So when they're forcing him to the sideline, look, they're setting the edge with a tackle like that. Head in front, wrap up around the legs by Jonathan Joseph, 24. Look, watch him shoot the legs. That hawk tackle, wrap him up, get him to the ground.
Spiller today 60 yards on the ground on 15 attempts. 3rd and 12. Watt got him around the ankles. Manuel no choice but to throw it to the sideline. J.J. Watt coming hard from the blind side.
Oh, is he taking up residence in that backfield all day long, nipping at the heels. Watch him coming right into your living room, right at E.J. Manuel, who's on the run. Had to get rid of that one, but he just stunts. He comes around late. Wrapping around, coming through. There's just creative ways of getting him free to come in on the pass rush.
Schmidt to punt again. This is Keyshawn Martin backpedaling. He's going to play it from the 35. Makes a couple of guys miss. Martin across the 45, ahead to the 47. So a short field for Fitzpatrick. 52-yard punt and a nifty little 10-yard return. Fitzpatrick and company as the relentless J.J. Watt making him pay, pushing him back.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Microsoft Surface, the official tablet of the NFL. Quicken Loans, for a mortgage experience that's engineered to amaze. And by Bud Light, who reminds fans to stay in the game and drink responsibly.
17-10 you score, NRG Stadium here in Houston. Spiro Ditas, Solomon Wilcox with you. Couple of 2-1 teams trying to rebound after being handled last Sunday. Texans trying to overcome 3 turnovers, 2 picks thrown by Ryan Fitzpatrick. We've had an 80-yard pick 6 by J.J. Watt, who has wreaked havoc for that Houston defense. And now Fitzpatrick and company back onto the field, early stages of the 4th.
Yeah, it seems like the turnovers have really set the tone of this football game. But if you're the Bills, you're just a touchdown away from tying it up. In Houston, you've got to begin to manufacture some offense to get separation on the scoreboard.
For those of you who've just joined us, Buffalo scored the first 10 points with 17 unanswered. And that's where we stand right now. Alfred Blue brought down behind the line of scrimmage. Denard Searcy, who had a forced fumble and a recovery on the same play back in the first half on the tackle.
Rushing yards a bit hard to come by for this Houston Texans team. The Bills defense has done a wonderful job of shutting down, whether it's, Adrian, or I should say Arian Foster or Alfred Blue. Only 18 yards rushing so far in the game for the Houston Texans.
Ryan Fitzpatrick from the gun, facing his former team since he left for the first time. Fitzpatrick, little left-handed shuffle pass to Blue.
That
was Favre-esque. Taking a chance. Preston Brown on the tackle.
We don't give him enough credit for his athleticism. We know he can move. And look at that, left-handed. Is there anything Ryan Fitzpatrick can't do?
Or at least won't try to do. Our game summary, E.J. Manuel has won back-to-back road games for the first time in his young career. But will have to come from behind if the Buffalo Bills are going to win this one.
Well, there's no doubt about it. J.J. Watt, that defense will have something to say about that. But right now, it's up to Ryan Fitzpatrick and the offense to try to put more points on the board.
The Buffalo defense has lost a couple of frontline starters. Kyle Williams, Nigel Bradham, both done for the day with knee injuries. Arian Foster, boy, heard the footsteps, perhaps was thinking about his move before he hauled it in. And on 4th down, the punting team out onto the field for Houston.
He's been rather sluggish today. I mean, this one was easy. Just take your time, catch it. You can see, but his eyes are downfield. Tried to take off running with it before he was able to haul it in. Seemed a little lethargic on that play.
Foster was a question mark all week. Hamstring injury that sidelined him last Sunday against the Giants. And so far, Solomon pointed out, a non-factor. Their catch signaled. This one takes, initially took a Buffalo bounce, and they pit him inside the 5. Andre Hall able to keep it in before the goal line, and Manuel will have his back against the wall. 51-yard punt, 7-point Texans lead. Now the Bills want to take that next step as a team. They've got a chance here. After everything that's happened since taking the 10-0 lead, still a 1-possession game with just under 12 minutes left, but they're pinned deep on their own side. 1st and 10. They keep it on the ground to Jackson. Able to get some positive momentum. Pickup of 1, maybe 2 yards. So Buffalo started with that 10-0 lead, Solomon, but 6 consecutive scoreless possessions since.
Yeah, they haven't been able to get the run game going here in the second half. Did a wonderful job. Did Doug Marone's group running the ball in the first half, creating balance and protecting their quarterback, E.J. Manuel. Here in the second half, the rush yards have been hard to come by, and it's been even more difficult to keep him clean in the pocket.
Jackson, the lone setback. Manuel from the gun, 2nd and 8. Over the middle, incomplete. Intended for Chandler. Brian Cushing on the tight coverage.
Well, Cushing did a good job of matching up right there on that play. He sensed where Manuel wanted to go to the ball. Now watch 56 close in right there. And look at them. They all come raking with hands. How many times have we seen a Houston Texan defender pry the ball loose as it just touched the hands of an intended receiver for Buffalo today? Critical third down play here. One thing Manuel has to do is protect the football. And he doesn't like the situation or the personnel grouping in the game.
Valuable timeout that they will have to burn here.
Second charge timeout. Buffalo.
That stops the clock at 11:07. Solly, they're so valuable in a one-score game here.
First charge timeout.
Manuel back onto the field for a 3rd and 8 when we come back.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Verizon. More live games than ever before with NFL Mobile. And by Subway Restaurants. Hurry in for the $5 footlong Italian BMT. Subway, eat fresh.
3rd and 8 for Buffalo. Manuel from the gun, about 2 yards into his own end zone. Texans coming, hard hit. Manuel knocked down on the release. It was Whitney Merciless coming right up the gut. J.J. Watt looks real hot.
Wow.
As Buffalo will punt 7th straight scoreless possession.
Look at this defensive line. They are shot out of a cannon. Whitney Merciless and the rest come pouring into that backfield, making it very uncomfortable for E.J. Manuel.
Colton Schmidt will have to punt from the back of his own end zone. Keyshawn Martin back deep inside the 50. Martin's going to play it. Brought down right around the ankles from the back. Excellent coverage by Brooks. 41-yard punt. As we try to figure out what happened, Watt very upset with the officials at the end of this play.
Oh, there's going to be a play. I think Richardson falls right on top of him. Helmet comes off.
That was Chantrell Henderson, the rookie tackle.
I don't think I would like if a 300-pound man fell on my head once the play was over either.
Doesn't feel good, does it?
Probably not.
Talked about the obvious concern today with Buffalo starting 2 rookies on their offensive line. And as expected, Watt and this defensive front have been in the backfield all day. This is Alfred Blue, the rookie runner from LSU. Giving Arian Foster a look. And now they look at the left ankle, it looks like, Solomon, of Andre Johnson. Johnson's had a busy day if you've just joined us. 6 catches, 71 yards. Trying to figure out if he can continue. Here's the play that we think Johnson was injured in. Right there comes up Lane. What a loss that would be in a tight game. So 2nd and 7. They line up at the 41. Here's Fitzpatrick, the one-time Bill. Miscommunication with the tight end, Graham. That one was nearly at the tight end before he even turned around. Cersei coming with the pressure.
Right here, just on the right side of the screen there. Watch him just go out. The ball's thrown, overthrown. Misfiring on the throw from Fitzpatrick. One might say, well, why wouldn't you eat clock with 10 minutes to go in the game? This is not a time to start eating clock. You got to continue to put your foot on the pedal if you're Fitzpatrick and the Texans offense start to convert some of these third downs.
Foster back on the field. They line him up in the slot. Towards the bottom of your picture, 3rd and 7. Fitzpatrick, near side, it's caught. That's Foster. Well short, needed to get to about the 34-yard line. Tackle made by Mario Williams, facing his former team for the 2nd time since leaving in 2012.
I know, I looked that up, like, how is Mario Williams out in coverage against Arian Foster? He is a big man. He walked in our meeting yesterday.
You can't appreciate how big he is.
You really can't distance. And then he moves so well, as we saw in that play.
Randy Bullock will come on to attempt a 55-yard field goal. This one is on target, and it is good. Massive play by Bullock to give the Texans a 10-point lead.
Well, this is what they wanted. Bill O'Brien did a really good job of kind of moving the ball there. They were able to get close enough for Bullock to nail this one through. And again, as we said, put more points on the board, creating separation on the scoreboard and making things even more uncomfortable for E.J. Manuel and the Bills offense.
Bullock, the 24-year-old third-year kicker out of Texas A&M, as Andre Johnson going into the locker room on his own power. Appears to be an ankle injury. Nothing official given to us from the Texans yet. We'll try to get an update as quickly as we can. New career long for Bullock. So if you've just joined us, Buffalo started, scored the first 10 points in the game, but 20 straight points scored by Fitzpatrick and the Texans.
Yeah, you have to give Fitzpatrick some credit. He had a couple of interceptions even to begin the second half here. The big play from J.J. Watt, getting the interception, return for a touchdown, and from there they captured the momentum. And from then on, Fitzpatrick's been really good at moving the offense, being careful with the football, and just managing the game.
Well, Fitzpatrick talked about the emotion of going against some of his very close friends still on that Buffalo team. C.J. Spiller takes a knee, and Buffalo will have it from the 20. Next Sunday, the NFL on CBS will come your way with doubleheader action. First, these Texans headed to Dallas to take on the Cowboys. And the Ravens in action taking on Andrew Luck and the Colts. Also Chiefs, San Francisco. Check your local listings. It all begins with JB, Tony Bart, Coach, and Boomer on the NFL Today. 71,000 plus NRG Stadium. The retractable roof is closed here. Muggy conditions outside. Temperatures in the low 80s. Buffalo's offense coming up empty on 7 straight possessions. Manuel, 1st and 10, is going to take a shot. Has his man wide open. Buffalo, Mike Williams, first catch, and he is into the end zone. And how about that for a response from Manuel? 80 yards to Williams. Brand new game. Buffalo back in it.
And it starts with protection. If you give E.J. Manuel time to get out of the pocket, and he did a really good job of keeping his vision down the field. And that's what happens. And watch, J.J. Watt comes underneath. Watch him roll out to his right. But see, vision down the field. He sees Williams wide open as coverage drops on the back end. Here's Jonathan Joseph in coverage. He's in the underneath. But DJ Swearinger, the safety, 36, is supposed to roll over the top. Didn't get deep enough. Pressure doesn't get there. And he can't catch up with Mike Williams. Heck of a play by the quarterback to stay alive, and for Williams to continue running his route.
First touchdown as a Bill for Williams, who came home in the offseason, traded from the Bucs. Buffalo native, started Riverside High School in Buffalo, reunited with his old college coach, Doug Marrone, who actually dismissed him from the Syracuse program in 2009. Williams trying to get his career back on track, and by far the biggest moment of his brief time with his new team.
Yeah, DJ Swearinger, he's the safety. See, he's right here, and he has to stay deep because there's going to be the deep route, and then watch E.J. Manuel roll out of the backfield. And so you have to stay deep. I don't know, Jonathan Joseph also has to stay with this guy, but he was settling in, waiting for that inside route to come shallow, and Swearinger's supposed to pick up the deeper running route by Mike Williams, and he didn't do it. Certainly not in time.
Before they made that trade, And soon after they met, Marone was very candid with Williams and told him point blank, look, if we were still in college, I wouldn't want you on my team. But now as a pro, feels like Williams has matured the last couple of years, all the off-field issues that he has had. Can't question his ability, Solomon.
No doubt.
Great 3-year stretch, 2010-12 for the Tampa Bay Bucks. First touchdown as a member of the Bills, cuts the deficit to 3.
Certainly making plays like that will make the coach say, we love to have you in Buffalo. He's a Buffalo native going home to play for his pro team and making plays today.
Daniel Manning catches on a bounce. He's going to play it for Houston. 5 yards deep in his own end zone, across the 15 to the 20. Spins is still going to the 30, out to the 35-yard line. As he energizes this capacity crowd, 40 yards on the return from Manning. So how does Ryan Fitzpatrick and company answer here? Fitzpatrick, the former Bill, facing his old team for the first time since he was cut by the Bills after the 2012 season. Buffalo jumped out to the 10-0 lead. For those of you that have just joined us, then 20 straight points scored by the Texans. Among their scores, an 80-yard pick six by J.J. Watt. But E.J. Manuel connecting with Mike Williams on an 80-yard touchdown bomb. And that's where we sit in a 3-point Texans lead. 1st and 10, Fitzpatrick rolling out over the middle, completes to Blue. Close to midfield. First down play through the air for a dozen. Tackle made by Preston Brown, the rookie.
And so many times I've come here to do a game in Houston. If you had told me that Arian Foster's not in the game at the end and Andre Johnson, who just went to the locker room, I would tell you that their chances of winning are going to be slim. But they now have depth on this team. You just saw Blue making the play coming out of backfield where they can rest a guy like Arian Foster and still play well.
1st and 10. Incomplete. So you can't underscore the importance of these final 8+ minutes. You know, we get through today, we're a quarter of the way through the season. Buffalo trying to take that next step. They feel like their arrows pointed upward. What a win this would be for them. And Houston, a win today, gets them to 3-1 for only the 3rd time in their history.
Both are teams that you feel like they're one step away. And Bill O'Brien, certainly in the first quarter of his tenure here as a head coach, you can begin that first quarter of the season at 3-1. You're feeling pretty good about yourself, particularly after winning the first 2 games of the season.
Texans a loser last Sunday at the Giants. Buffalo beaten at home by Phillip Rivers and the Chargers. This is Blue, so they give Foster a rest here, playing with that gimpy hamstring. Blue gets 7 as they will mark him down right around the 45-yard line. It'll set up a 3rd down.
They've given Alfred Blue some opportunities to get balance to the offense, running the ball well, creating a 3rd and 4th play. Now, they like to run a lot of screens and picks to try to free up the tight end. And then, of course, if you get an all-out blitz, look for Blue to slip through and maybe he hits the running back on the check down.
Damaris Johnson, backup wide receiver, is the lone setback. Foster split out top of your screen. 3rd and short. Fitzpatrick wants to run it, needs to get to the 41-yard line, and he does. 5 yards for the gritty Fitzpatrick. Corbin Bryant on the tackle, but not before they move the chains.
There was some confusion on many of the routes being run there, and Fitzpatrick figures it out. He says, you know what, I'm not going to throw it. I'm going to take it myself. And I love the way he was climbing the pocket already as he was looking downfield. So he decides to keep it. See, here you get one out right there. He's not going to risk throwing it over there. And so he just tucks it, keeps it himself. Understanding the situation has been vitally important for Ryan Fitzpatrick today.
For those who have just joined us, you see there Fitzpatrick is Houston's leading rusher today. 16 yards on 4 rushes. Fitzpatrick connected over the middle. That's Keyshawn Martin, 3rd-year man out of Michigan State. Only his 2nd reception on the season. Penalty marker is down right at the 30.
And if this contact by DeAndre Hopkins is beyond...
Pass interference. Offense number 10.
Yeah.
10-yard penalty. Repeat 1st down.
He made contact with one of the defenders beyond 1 yard down the field. You throw one of those blocks. See, watch him. See, he's down the field now. Now watch there. That's the pick that freed Keyshawn Martin up. And so they're going to throw the penalty flag. You can have that kind of contact as long as you're not more than 1 yard downfield when that contact is made on a pass play.
So instead of a 17-yard gain, it's a loss of 10. Marks him back at the 50. 1st and 20. Draw play now, end around. This is Johnson getting to the edge. Met by McKelvin at the 45-yard line. So they get 10 yards back. Officially, they'll call it about 9 here. It'll depend on the spot. Nice recovery by Buffalo.
Watch Manny Lawson goes one way. They get outside of him. Watch the peel back. Blocked by the quarterback, Ryan Fitzpatrick. They set Manny Lawson up on that one. He goes the wrong way, and then when he's the right way, he's still wrong.
That's a pretty good block for a quarterback. You can say what you want about Fitzpatrick and some of the interceptions, but can't question the man's toughness. In a game that he readily admitted would be full of emotion for him. 2nd and 12. Fitzpatrick over the middle. It's caught. Texans needed to get to the 30. They're a couple short. Hopkins on a diving catch, 9 yards. And decision time now for Bill O'Brien.
There he is coming on the slot. 2 across the middle. He goes for the second window to get it into Hopkins. Right now, Fitzpatrick is dealing on this drive. He's racking up some pretty good numbers, managing the offense and making good decisions on some of these throws.
We saw Texans owner Bob McNair standing right behind his coach O'Brien. Pivotal moment of the game here, 3rd and 2 from just outside the 32. Screen pass behind Foster. It'll be 4th down.
It's a throw that they wanted to make, and it looked like Foster wasn't even looking on that play, didn't anticipate. Take a look coming out of the backfield. See, he's not looking. Ball's got to come down. By the time he turns around, he's not able to adjust. Pressure in the face of Fitzpatrick, totally take it out of sync. But if you're Foster, you got to expect that ball sooner and be available for your quarterback.
Randy Bullock hit a career-long 55-yarder earlier in the quarter. This one from 50. This one on target, and it is good. That'll extend Houston's lead to 6. Buffalo with 2 timeouts, plenty of time, 4:49 left. What a day it's been for Randy Bullock.
Yeah, Bullock is rewarding this football team, and Fitzpatrick, the hard work the offense is putting into it to be able to put him in field goal position, you've got to be able to pay it off. And boy, does he. Yeah, he knows that was close, just leaked in around the left upright.
What a wild day it's been. A day that saw Buffalo come here, score the first 10 points. E.J. Manuel marches him up down the field, only the 2nd touchdown for the rookie Watkins. And then the Texans came back. 80-yard pick 6 from J.J. Watt. And then the answer, 80-yard touchdown bomb, Manuel to Mike Williams. As Bullock extends Houston's lead to 6. And if you're a Buffalo fan, all you can ask for is a chance, and they've got it here with under 5 minutes left.
And the fact that Houston has scored 16 points here in the second half, it tells you they have sort of responded after really falling behind and watching Buffalo score the first 10 points of the game.
Bullock on to boot it away. This is a short kick here. Spiller from about 5 yards deep. So dangerous, getting to the seam to the 20. So Manuel, 2 timeouts left in his hip pocket. What kind of response do we get here with the Bills down 6? Thursday, your football week starts here when the Vikings take on the Packers in an NFC North showdown in Green Bay. Another big-time matchup goes prime time Thursday night football on CBS and NFL Network. Packers with a big win today. That'll get some of the folks in Green Bay off their back. Buffalo looking for what would be an enormous road win. Down 6. They need a touchdown. Little shuffle pass. Manuel. Resourceful play ahead to Williams, who had a long touchdown pass. What about strategy now, Doug Marrone, in terms of play calling here with still plenty of time remaining?
Oh, you can see he's looking at the clock, just ready to go into their 4-minute offense, meaning they do not have to hurry. Remember, you can get a touchdown and you take the lead, so you don't want to leave a whole lot of time on the clock. Right now, I think you have a good balance of run, pass, little screen play with Fred Jackson, allow him to break tackles and make plays.
2nd and 6. Chandler wasn't on the same page with Manuel that time. 3rd and 6.
See, the quick passes are there, and Chandler's just got to get his head around. So you want those quick passes because it doesn't allow time for J.J. Watt to pour in and pressure your quarterback. Take a look here. See, real quick, 3-step drop, ball's got to come out, and if you're Chandler, you've got to get the head around and find the football quickly. Critical 3rd down here for E.J. Manuel.
3rd and 6. Manuel deep down the far side, intended for Williams. It's incomplete. So less than a minute comes off the game clock. Bills will hold those 2 timeouts. Punting team onto the field.
Here you've got to give your receiver a chance, to at least a chance to make the play on the ball. Thrown a little bit outside, and if you're Williams, you got to be able to make the adjustment. Little holding there, just grabbing of the shoulder pad on J.J. Watt, but well accounted there by the offensive line.
That was Eric Wood, Pro Bowl center, among the best in the NFL, whom J.J. Watt singled out in our meeting with him on Friday as one of the best offensive linemen in the NFL. 43-yard punt, fair caught by Martin. And how about the afternoon from J.J. Watt, former Defensive Player of the Year, pressure all day, and the 80-yard pick six.
We said he would be lined up just about everywhere today on that defensive line for the Texans, and when you can move him around, he'll make plays like this. He'll show up everywhere on the stat sheet getting into that backfield.
So Jim Schwartz, first-year defensive coordinator for Buffalo, is going to ask his unit to get a big stop here. There's Andre Johnson available to return. They were looking at his ankle earlier. 6-point Houston lead with 3:49 left. Both teams with 2 timeouts. This is Alfred Blue cutting back. Minimal gain on first down. May have only gotten to the line of scrimmage. Tackle made by Preston Brown, the backup linebacker, in for the injured Bradham.
Well, this is where, if you're now the Houston Texans, you've got to start eating clock. You want to pound the run game. And right now, if you're Buffalo with a couple in your back pocket, you've got to come away with a stop. You got to pitch a 3 and out right here. But I expect the Houston Texans to keep it on the ground, trying to create a 3rd and medium, and then maybe you throw it there. But right now, keep it on the ground and try to bleed as much clock as you can.
Arian Foster just 6 rushing yards today. Top 5 rushing attack, but they've been ineffective so far. 2nd and 10. Fitzpatrick's pass incomplete. Intended for the rookie fullback Prosh, who had a big reception earlier. And now what do they do on 3rd and 10?
Well, right there on 2nd down, you've got to make this completion. If you're going to call a pass play, you better make the completion, because now you stop the clock for Buffalo. You did them a favor. This is what they wanted. The clock stopped now on 3rd down. If they can get a stop here, Doug Marrone and his offense will be in great shape.
Solly, why even take that chance?
Well, you're hoping to get the fullback out real easy. He was open. He's got to get his head around. He's got to find the ball, but you have to make the completion if you're going to call that pass play.
Now forced to throw here, 3rd and 10. Fitzpatrick over the middle. It's caught. Needed to get to the 42. Where will they mark it? Foster on the catch.
He's going to be close.
Looks like a favorable spot, and that's going to be enough for the Houston first down.
Wow.
They may bring out the chains crew. Needed to get right to the 42-yard line. And from that angle, looks like they have it. Looks like Bill Vinovich, our referee, wants to bring out the chains crew. Clock stopped at 2:42 to play. 2 timeouts left for both teams. more than enough for the first.
And we talk about the catch and run, and watch Foster is actually the catch and roll. See, he gets this, and they don't touch him. And that moment of hesitation by Rivers made the difference. If he goes and touching down immediately, this is not going to be a first down. In fact, Houston's going to be punting, but the little catch and roll by Foster converts the third down into a first down.
Boy, as ineffective as Foster has been on the ground, he's got 6 catches today for 57 yards. And that one of the biggest plays of the day, certainly if the Texans hold on to win. Clock continues to run, 2:26. Graham in motion. 1st and 10 from just outside the 41. Blue blowing up in the backfield, never had a chance. Jarris Wynn, the 60th man out of Georgia. They lose 4.
Charge timeout. Buffalo.
They call this a run blitz. Just everybody, just cave in. We know they're going to run it on 1st and 10. They're trying to eat clock. Let's just go for it, and that's exactly what they did. Both Charles and Wynn. Look at them right here. All penetration by the white jerseys in the backfield of the blue team.
So Jarris Wynn, the 60th man, signed in April. Bouncing around the league, making an awfully big play for that defense. Coming up, the Subway postgame show from New York. JB, Tony, Bart, Boomer, and Coach Cowher will take you around the league. Week 4 around the NFL. It's all to come on the Subway postgame show. As E.J. Manuel looks on. A young second-year quarterback who has won just 2 road games in his brief career. Ryan Fitzpatrick, the one-time Bill, 4 years in Buffalo. Texans up 6 with the Bills down to their final timeout. Here's Blue on the pitch. Minimal gain. As that'll take us down to the 2-minute warning. 6-point lead for the Texans. Third down play when we continue. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Subway postgame show comes your way next. We'll send you to New York. JB, Tony, Bart, Boomer, and Coach Cowher. All the latest scores and highlights on the Subway postgame show coming up next. Bills down to their final timeout. Biggest play today till this point. 3rd and 12. Foster split out bottom of your screen. Little screen pass. Caught. Going nowhere. And that was the stop that Buffalo so desperately needed. Keith Rivers, question mark this week with a groin injury on the stop. We're at NRG Stadium. Spiro Ditas, Solomon Wilcots, our entire CBS crew. Couple of 2-1 teams looking for a pivotal early season win. Ryan Fitzpatrick, the ex-Bill, Doug Marrone against his good buddy, former college coaching mate, and Bill O'Brien. First time that they've seen each other. 2 men that never dreamed that they'd be coaching together at this level. Same staff back at Georgia Tech in the mid to late 90s. 6-point lead for the Texans. Buffalo scored the first 10 points, then 20 straight for Houston before the Bills answered. And it looks like E.J. Manuel is going to get one more shot. Bills are out of timeouts. Here's McKelvin, brought down. Solomon, what are we looking for with Marrone in this offense?
Now remember, no timeouts for the Buffalo Bills. You typically want to take shots along the sideline where you can catch it and then step out of bounds. But with 1:42 left in the game, Spiro, I think you got to take some shots over the middle of the field because the defense is going to be defending the boundary, expecting you to catch it and try to get out of bounds. Because you can race up to the ball, then you can spike it to stop the clock. I look for them to hopefully take a shot over the middle of the field where they could get someone wide open. If no one's there, check it down to Fred Jackson, allow him to break tackles for you.
See already what Manuel has done in these kinds of situations. Manuel under duress, breaks a couple of tackles, gonna run it out of bounds, picks up positive yardage. So Manuel, the young man taken with the 16th overall selection, 2013, who has shown flashes of brilliance. That time, nice play on first down.
Take a look. Go ahead and roll it because all the routes are going to be outside the numbers. So see, they're trying to get a catch where they catch it and step out of bounds. There's nothing over the middle of the field. They don't run any of those routes, and I think there was an opportunity to make a play there.
Keep in mind, 2 rookie starters for the Bills on their offensive line. Texans showing blitz, 2nd and 7. Manuel hit as he throws. That time never had a chance. It was Mike Mohammed, the inside linebacker out of Cal, coming up the gut.
And that's why you don't let the quarterback sit back there and pick you apart. Bill O'Brien is an aggressive coach. Romeo Crennel is aggressive in his play calling in terms of blitzing the opposing quarterback. Look at that. And you can see Fred Jackson nearly ran by Mohammed. That's how Mohammed was able to get the E.J. Manuel. Now on 3rd down, this is where I think you run combination routes or look over to the other side of the field. You got Sammy Watkins matched up against Jonathan Joseph. You get a one-on-one opportunity, you've got to take it.
Jackson alone setback. Little screen pass. Here comes the 33-year-old Jackson across the 40. First down and more for Buffalo. 13 yards to move the chains.
And that's the play I was talking about earlier. If you get down the field, you go in, hit the check down to Fred Jackson. He is so good. See, here he is here. He'll block. And then once he gets out here, if there's no one open, get it to him. Let him run with it. And you can see they lift coverage over on that side. He's able to hit the first down marker and stop the clock.
You see what Jackson has done, the NFL's oldest running back. 1st and 10, also able to stop the clock. Manuel, near side, wide open is Woods. Inside Texans territory. Stopping the clock again, 12 yards and another first down.
And remember, you need a touchdown. So right now, you can see him coming out. Here's Woods. He's just over there in the flat. They're trying to defend deep. And I think if you're Houston, you have to do that after giving up the long touchdown pass early in the game to Mike Williams. They don't want to give up the cheap one, but they're leaving guys wide open underneath.
Again, Buffalo, no timeouts left, down 6. Manuel, far side, intercepted. Picked off by Daryl Morris, the 2nd-year corner. And Buffalo's potential game-winning drive comes up empty.
Well, they were in man coverage, and Morris just did a really wonderful job of helping out. Now watch him. He's at the top. He's outside on Williams. But Kareem Jackson has his back to the quarterback. And so Morris comes off his guy and plays the overthrow on the ball intended for Wood. Now pressure at the feet of E.J. Manuel forced him to overthrow the football. So this is just good team defense by Morris, helping out Kareem Jackson and coming away with the interception.
First career pick. And what a moment for it to come for Daryl Morris, who's been all over the field today. If you've just joined us, special teams defensively. Boy, Bills fans were hoping for some late game magic from their young quarterback.
I'll show you how it happened. See, watch here. He's going to go deep, but then he'll come off and peel it and get the interception. It's not even intended for his guy, but pressure forces the overthrow, and then Morris, he can play with vision back in at the quarterback. He sees the overthrow, makes a play on the ball.
So the 2nd pick thrown by Manuel. They're looking at the leg of Morris. And J.J. Watt.
Whoever else's birthday it is, happy birthday.
Starting to celebrate on that Houston sideline. Fitzpatrick's going to take a knee, and that will do it. The Houston Texans out to a 3-1 start for only the 3rd time in franchise history. 80-yard pick 6 by J.J. Watt. Among the highlights as the Texans win it 23-17. And what an emotional moment for Ryan Fitzpatrick, exchanging pleasantries with some of his ex-teammates on that Buffalo side. Texans go to 3-1. Buffalo now a 2nd straight loss to fall to 2-2. Coming up next, the Subway postgame show with the latest NFL scores and highlights. Now for our crew, Solomon Wilcott, Spiro Dita saying so long from Houston. You've been watching the NFL on CBS. We now send it to James Brown in New York.